Futures pretty flat here as we get going into the absolute biggest week of the earnings season yet. Basically, all of big tech going to report earnings Tuesday and Thursday, the days you want to focus on this week. The biggest of the big on the way with earnings. We'll touch on that coming up. Obviously, we get the Fed on Wednesday as well. The decision not going to be that important this time around, but it's going to be about what Fed Chair Powell has to say in the press conference once again at 2:30 on Wednesday afternoon. Make sure you're with us for that. We'll bring it to you live, and anything that comes from that as far as indications one way or the other going forward for the Fed. Few things of note this morning. Tesla back to the upside 2 days in a row here, talking about spending more. Is Elon? We'll get into that a little bit, and all big tech showing a little bit of strength. Apple lagging a little bit here, but Microsoft testing all-time highs once again. A lot of people talking positively on the AI front going into their report coming up tomorrow. We'll talk about Meta, Apple, and Amazon as well. It's Monday, January 29th, 2024. TraderTv.live starts now. One to look forward to today as well at some point. FLUT on the NYSE going to make its debut. Its primary listing is over in the UK. So yes, it's a debut, but not necessarily the same as most IPOs. So we'll talk about that coming up as well. Just seeing Amazon and iRobot have officially agreed to terminate their pending acquisition. There was also a note that just came across there from Baird on Apple. Baird raising their price target, it looks like, to 200 once again for Apple from 186, talking a little bit positively. So last week it was all about Apple lagging and Apple's weak and Apple has problems. So here comes all the positive talk now for Apple.
Yeah, and they released a new video over the weekend about the Vision Pro showing more details and the specific features that you're going to be able to control using your hands. So more details coming out with that, Brendo. But to go back to FanDuel, very interesting time for them to actually launch in North America as we come into that Super Bowl season. You'll recall that DraftKings overtook them as the #1 online sports betting app with 33% of the market share. We'll have to see if their inclusion in the NYSE helps buoy that market share again.
Yeah, I was noting this morning that the this is the actual stock in London, FLTR, downside here this morning to the tune of about 2%. So not a lot of volume behind it over in London, but we'll see how things kick off for FLUT on the NYSE when that happens today. So lots to look forward here, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning if you're a SoFi shareholder so far. 16% to the upside for SoFi, and not so great to the downside, pretty much that much for iRobot. But as Brendan just mentioned, Amazon and iRobot not doing the deal, so that's going to be under pressure. It's the biggest week of earnings this week. So you got the whole kit and caboodle. We start with SoFi today. We already have them. We get SMCI aftermarket, and we get Microsoft, AMD. I mean, it's just, the list is ridiculous. It's going to be wild. There's a lot of volatility in some of these names, especially the semi-names that have come through. How many times we're going to hear AI this week? Probably a few times too many, but doesn't matter. It's all about finding these trading opportunities out there for you. Don't sleep on the EVs. You know, Tesla earning last week. Going to keep them in play. Watching some Rivian as well. Bitcoin's holding out. Pretty excited, man. The key thing is stick to you. You got to be able to do you. Like whatever your trading strategy is, make sure you stick to that identity. But don't get too stubborn with it, right? Like it's one thing to be aggressive if you're a play caller. It's another thing to run the ball when you need your timeout. I don't know. I feel bad for Detroit fans because I don't know the next time they're going to get there. But I think it's going to be an exciting week. It was an exciting week in football. I had an absolute blast. And SoFi doesn't want to wait for $9. I thought we'd be getting some dips to buy. Every time this gaps up, we usually get some dips at the open. Right now, it's just flying.
Yeah, we'll look at SoFi today. Welcome. Yeah, a nice move up there. Yeah, 760 is gone. Yeah. Here comes $9 immediately. I feel like, you know what? I was going to take a $9 break anyways, so I'm going to take it right now because what's the difference? All right, so we're going to take SoFi breaking through this level right here. Why not? Taking through $9. Congratulations. SoFi continues move higher. And let me check out what the short float for SoFi is quickly as we go. Wow, what a move. This thing is going to break 9, whether or not it goes up from now. SOFI. I'm just working on the sticky note is done. It'll be on a second. 13% right there for the short float. So, okay, yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. It's been a big weekend, obviously. We dropped the podcast. That was a lot of fun. Thank you again. Another record for the viewers on the podcast. I want to thank everybody for continuously supporting that. We had a lot of fun, Brendo and I, and it's going to be more fun this week with the market recap show because we have tons of earnings on board, and it starts off right now with SoFi. So we'll see how that trades, and then we'll look forward to the rest. I'm working. Sticky note is going to be out in just a couple of seconds.
Absolutely jam-packed week coming up right across the board. Tuesday and Thursday, again, the two most important dates as far as earnings. But as the guys were saying, basically every day there's something notable coming. AMD going to be Tuesday. It's higher this morning. We'll touch on that. I want to mention this, though. United Airlines coming out, kind of surprising here, saying that they have resumed use of their Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets. A little bit ahead of what I think everyone was expecting after that FAA grounding notice came through. There was no indication going into the weekend that I saw anyways that, they had wrapped that up or that, they hadn't found anything significant, to extend it in any way. So Boeing getting a little bit of a bounce on that, much needed bounce for Boeing. SoFi, as the guys were talking about, also on this list, but a few things outside of earnings to touch on today.
Yeah, tough couple of weeks for Boeing, Brendo, but UAL as well. I mean, they're scheduling all these flights and committing to passengers that they'll be able to take them places, and they're having to ground these aircraft. So for them, it's probably really good for business here as they continue to look forward to the summer. They're also a transatlantic provider as well, which is where the demand is right now for travel. So we'll have to see and wait. We'll have to wait and see to see if they lost any consumer confidence there. But yeah, going into the summer.
Yeah, more questions, not necessarily indications of weakness coming from the Chinese ADRs this morning, but worth a note, China's Evergrande being forced to liquidate or it owes up to $300 billion in debt. Shares were down 20% in Hong Kong today for Evergrande, but there's Alibaba right there, not really doing anything so far.
And by the way, Ryanair reported this morning. And Ryanair was actually quite critical of what United actually had to say about some of Boeing's airplanes. And they're saying, look, if United doesn't want them, we'll take them. We've got plenty of demand over in Europe. Number one European airline for passenger rate, Brendo, not by market cap, obviously. So them coming out and saying actually that United's comments were, quote, stupid. Yeah. Make of that what you will.
Put it how you feel, but the interesting part of that was we got that number. I think it was Monday or Tuesday last week. I think it was 40 planes of 177 at that point had been inspected. So obviously they went to UAL first to get those inspections done and have cleared. So we'll see what happens with these today, guys.
It's been in play for, obviously you guys know, it's been in play for a while, but what's interesting is that since we had the big move in the bottom at 200, it's been pretty clean. Like on Thursday, you basically just double bottomed it from that recent low at 198, and then you've got this 217 up top. I think all roads lead to those two prices. I don't think you want to stray too far away from that. We talked about 217, 218 last week, and then down here just under $200 at 198. I don't think you want to, unless some big news hits that's going to start increasing volume or giving you an extra catalyst. I think you want to play this range till it breaks. And the range hasn't broken. You're diddling in the middle with this right now. At least when you look at the other, if you look at the other end of this, with some of the airlines, like we saw AAL last week, you get a chance, like UAL's looking like it's getting close to a bit of a breakout. AAL in particular, this was the one that absolutely, for lack of a better term, flew and broke out a price range. I think that's it's more interesting to look at something breaking out of ranges. So, if Boeing gets above 218, great. If Boeing gets under 198, not great for shareholders, probably good for the trade. But something like AAL to continue its break, like you broke a triple top on the earnings, and now you're just trying to hold that consolidation to make another leg up. So this is the one I'd be watching this week because it already showed you it's got some legs to the upside. All it has to do is hold around this 15 area, and then you make another stair step to the upside.
All right, so we got a little long there on SoFi. We'll take a little small profit. We got 885 dipped in there. So we already bought that long right in there for SoFi. A stock that we talked about, again, okay, this is nice. We talked about buying some Nike on the podcast a couple podcasts ago, down there near $100. We'll see what happens with Nike right there. And then that other idea, of course, was always going to be, whoopsies, was always Boeing. So Boeing here, .NY. Oh, yeah, that's right. They got that. Because there was a London name there, I put that period there. So you're getting close here to start to buy. I feel like you can go in now and basically buy this Boeing. I really like this. When does Boeing report? Are they Wednesday? Okay, so Boeing coming in on the 31st Wednesday, so the same day as Fed. We'll find out about Boeing, but I really like this level here. Buy the 200 dip against 175. I think I actually might be doing that if Boeing can go red today. We'll pick up some weakness ahead of earnings, but it's very difficult to make a call ahead of earnings. It's almost better to wait to see it, but I like Boeing down here near 2 bills. I think that's a buy.
On Softy this morning, back to, are we at it right now? Pretty close anyways. All-time highs for Microsoft this morning ahead of, there was one from RBC, there was one from a couple other analysts that I saw as well, ahead of earnings coming up tomorrow, pointing to more strength to come for not only Microsoft on the AI front, but chips in general. I mean, they were talking very broadly in that sense.
Yeah, Softy really getting benefit from that AI tailwind. They're expecting a 15.8% jump in revenue for this past quarter when you compare it to the year prior. A lot of that obviously has to do with the AI demand, but there's new features coming in, Brendo, like the Copilot feature that you'll be able to add to your Microsoft 365. With respect to cloud, they're forecasting 26 to 27% growth for Microsoft Azure on the quarter, Brendo. So we'll have to wait and see how they do.
Yeah, they launched, ChatGPT launched the GPT store, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, or maybe a week and a half ago, but they have all those plugins that you can, if you have the paid version, you can just add on to whatever you're doing. It's fantastic. I mean, you were even saying this morning, it's official that Google has left your iPhone and has been replaced with ChatGPT. So yeah, you get much more detailed answers, and you don't have to sift through search results. It gets right to the point of what you want. So we'll see, guys. For Microsoft, anything for today?
I mean, Softy the last 3 days on Microsoft, you essentially been working with the same bottom. I don't know, because of the strength, I'm not sure we get a chance at it today, but you know, when you talk about something taking the stairs up, like once, twice, thrice off of, it's like 402 to 402 and a half. So if you were to get down there, I think that's kind of the go zone for Microsoft. The daily chart speaks for itself, right? Like your trend up. So the trend is your friend to the upside going into earnings. We're about a flat day today with Microsoft. So the NASDAQ 0.07 to the upside, so very slightly up, and Microsoft's leading by being about 0.6. The ES is actually slightly red. So you have more strength in the overall market. If there is any kind of a pullback, that would set me up to look for a dip buy in Softy. Because I don't like anything till that price, there's probably a few other names that are going to do a little bit more relative volume. iRobot just popped on the list. I might be looking to short a pop there. Obviously, we're talking about SoFi. But 402 half on Microsoft. If you get down there, you've already seen the support 3 times. If it breaks a level like that, I think that's the kind of level that you accept. Hey, it's a key price. If the buyers are in there before and the buyers have been in the stock en masse, that's what support and resistance is all about. Unless it's breaking that level, I'm not really looking for shorts.
Yeah, for Microsoft, I'm only going to look long, man, up 0.63. I mean, it's well ahead of the market. We have so many good levels down here at 402. We'll just wait to see if we can dip by. Going to be difficult trading this thing tomorrow on earnings day, but we'll wait to see what happens here today. I just think you want to stay long. Look at the market falling off, and Microsoft's just holding its spot. So, yeah, this is a screaming long. It's going to be the #1 idea on this sticky note. I just have to get it out. Sure. We are now ready for the man, the myth, the legend. Will he be joining me tonight or not on the Market Recap Show? We'll find out. It's Michael Noss.
Yes?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There we go. Mr. Noss, back twice today. Make sure you're with us after the close tonight. Let's get a look at what's to come this week. Michael Noss, 500 charts behind him again over the weekend. And he sent me a note this morning saying he finally found something to buy. Tell us.
Yeah, and I generally get nervous if it takes me that long to find something to buy, a chart that I'm interested in. So I just wanted to point that out as well, that generally speaking, for me, the most bullish markets is I go through a handful of sectors and industries, and something stands out that looks really well to me. And I have a chart of the S&P 500 to start up with, and this is, something that I talked about, I believe, on Friday, where we do have this momentum diversion. So just a quick summary of that. Just basically, when a market breaks out, there's a certain amount of momentum that goes with it, in this case measured by the RSI. And you can see during that last breakout, there was a lot more momentum than on this breakout. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a top coming in, doesn't mean, a 1987 style crash or anything, but can mean that we are running a little bit out of steam and maybe the market needs to chill a bit. I think that's why it was so hard for me to kind of take a look and see what I wanted to get involved in. But if you go to the next slide here, I basically went through something we can do at Trade Ideas I love all the time, where I can look at all of the different sectors that I have and say, just show me which ones are on the highest end of the 10-day range. So 10-day, 20-day, whatever you want to pick. And what I noticed is that if we go down this list, we have Berk B. So that's Berkshire Hathaway, a lot of financials, but also he has a lot of oil and commodity related stocks right now. We know he's been buying Oxy hand over fist. I think he owns most of the company at this point. Next is XLE. So that's our energy sector, very high up on the list. Then we have USO, and that's just oil, very high on the list. DBC is a commodities ETF, very high up on the list. And then two down, we have OIH, which is the oil services sector, doing very well. So as I went through, it's kind of building more and more of a case that maybe we're going to get a rotation into oil. If the S&P 500, which we know is very weighted to tech, if that's going to take a little bit of a breath, and we know in bull markets, people, when they sell something, they go and they buy something else with it. In bear markets, when they sell something, they just turn it into cash. But in bull markets, they look for something else to buy. Maybe it's going to be oil next. So next chart is just a chart of the USO. A couple things that's interesting to note is this massive support area around 60. This is a weekly chart. So you can see for the last 3 years or so, every time it's neared this 60 area, there's been a buyer in that zone. The little line coming off the top is the anchored VWAP from the highs in around October. And we can see that we came down and we're now through that anchored VWAP. So you guys have Brian Shannon on all the time, so I'm not going to, rehash the anchored VWAP, but it just shows that the average, if you started buying oil at kind of the worst possible time, as of the end of last week, you're actually making money. Often that can be a sentiment shift of maybe it's time to get involved in oil again. Next chart I have here is the XLE. Drew a huge area of support that we've bounced off of, and I just really wanted to zoom in and focus on last week's candle. You can see a bit bullish engulfing candle, generally a very bullish sign for the overall market. Or whatever it is that you're looking at means that all sellers from the prior, I think, 3 weeks have gotten erased. Anyone short in that period's having a bad time. So I went through tons of oil stocks to try to find one that looked good and hasn't been a little bit too overextended, has some sort of a base that we can play off of. And this is where a lot of the charts came through, because a lot of these things don't look great, but Valero looks actually really, really good here. So here's a weekly chart, and you can see we have an ascending triangle going on. We have some topping tails above that range, but it's around 140 or so if we can break through and hold, because the last 3 times we were up here, we got rejected. But you can see buyers are coming in at a higher and higher level. That's what makes that ascending triangle. You have a vertical resistance, you have a support point that's showing that buyers are coming in at a higher price, creating this kind of compression of volatility. So around 140, I like the look of that. The last chart I have here is the daily chart. You can see we had earnings on Thursday, a nice strong gap up on earnings that held, and then a little breakthrough follow or continuation day on Friday gets us above this 135 level that's been a problem for a long time. And I just had to draw in the rounded bottom for a smiley face. As always, I've been told to buy smiley faces and sell frowny faces. Might be time for a smiley face on oil, which gives us a good rotation out of tech and some way to diversify our portfolio into something a little bit more physical.
Geopolitical headlines over the weekend, helping in this argument as well. I was actually surprised a little bit to see oil itself down slightly here in the pre-market anyways. Futures are negative. But again, just to reiterate, not necessarily telling everybody to run out and buy all the oil companies, but specifically some relative strength coming back into play for energy.
Yeah, and you guys know me. I avoid knowing anything about geopolitical stuff, but often the chart will line up, and then there'll be some sort of story that propels it. If we're getting that out there, again, I like the look of this as again just a diversifier again away from the S&P 500 and all of the big tech names that have been doing so well. We're looking for something to buy that hasn't quite gone yet and hoping the bull market kind of pulls everything up.
On that note, just to not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot, big tech earnings this week. From a higher perspective, is that something that you just avoid altogether or something that you look at on an individual basis, maybe after the fact?
Yes, I always filter out, and it's something you can do in trade ideas that I love. Anything that has earnings in like the next 5 to 10 days, I just don't want to see it. Now, I did do some study, and there is a massive, I think it's like 25% by market cap of the S&P 500 reports this week. That's going to create a lot of volatility. And we know the S&P 500 is very, very tech weighted. So it's one of the other reasons why I'm trying to focus away from that for the next little bit. The hope is that if we wait for all of these earnings to settle out and all of the Nvidias and Apples and everything that's really going to shake the market to kind of calm down, and I'm over here playing in oil that doesn't really get affected as much by earnings, it's more of a commodity play. And then once the earnings is settled out, I'll go look at the aftermath after the dust settles and see if we can find some plays in there.
Back with Sean after the close tonight at 4 o'clock on the recap. We'll see you then.
Talk to you then.
Thanks as always, Michael. And the thing is, you have to know your strategy, right? Like for some traders, like for a day trader, we love the volatility that this earnings is going to bring us on a daily basis because you're going to get AMD reporting and all the chips are going to be very tradable that day, and you're going to get well, this isn't necessarily earnings, but you're going to get Flutter on the market today, and then maybe that makes DraftKings a little bit more volatile. But it's all about staying in your lane. The chart on VLO looks pretty good, and shout out, there was someone in the chat mentioning that VLO goes ex-div, which may or may not matter to you when you're trading it. There's just one quick little update. I know the position board's not really working. I know Sean's long in SoFi, so we'll get that fixed in just a little bit. But I want to just quickly show what was going on with iRobot here, because with Amazon pulling Amazon and IRBT agreeing to pull the plug on the deal, iRobot also laying off like 30% of their workforce. So you're seeing the stock down. It's already done a bunch of volume, down 17%. These are fresh. Obviously, these are going to be fresh lows. It's going to be super volatile. If it tries to fail break this 15 level, I'm looking to fade this. We don't have to pay for locates. I'm assuming it's probably easy to borrow for most people. But that 15 just found a bunch of sellers on the first initial bounce. If it continues to show resistance there, I'll be looking for shorts. There might be some kind of SSR bounce on this stock today because it's going to open down, likely to open down 10%. If it was $10, maybe $12 is the wick low in here. I think that's worth looking into off of the open. So this is going to be, obviously it's going to do a lot of volume today. It's going to be very volatile, but everyone's waiting to see whether this would finally end, and it's ending with a termination of the deal. So I'm expecting some trading here at iRobot. Want to look for a fade off 15. If there's an SSR bounce, I'll go for it, but probably at that $12 level, not up here.
iRobot, yeah, good name there. Well, it's always good when you get that termination, right? You want some of that volume coming through. Look, we talked about Michael Nas joining me tonight. We've been talking about XLE for a while and buying this $80 level, and we did that, so now it's upside. I don't want to sell. I'm doing the Brendan method here. I'm not going to be selling anything forever, so hopefully XLE continues to make the move all the way to the upside here. This is just to be Try to be a little diversified, get some oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, you didn't know he said that, Sharif? You're not listening to the podcast over there, my guy? All right, well, here we go. Let's go back over to the desk.
No,
Intently, Sean.
Yeah, no, he was saying that you sold some last week of a few other things. But anyway, let's get some analyst moves here. Upgrades and downgrades. Adara has those over at the screen.
American Airlines are getting an upgrade from Citigroup. Dollar Trade with an upgrade from JP Morgan Chase. So certainly one to keep an eye on here, trading a little bit higher today with a price target of 157. Raymond James upgrading Colgate Palmolive. And last but not least, on the upgrade side, Monness, Crespi, and Hart upgrading Block. So SQ, one on watch today with a price target of 85 here. We also have for downgrades PayPal, also from Monness, Crespi, and Hart. So they're upgrading one of these payment adjacent names, downgrading another one here. PYPL downgraded. Warner Brothers also getting a downgrade here from Wells Fargo. This one you can read a little bit more about in the watch list because it was included there. But one of the reasons they mentioned was lack of sports content. Albemarle getting a downgrade from TD Cowen, and last but not least, NAS here, Norfolk Southern getting a downgrade from Morgan Stanley, guys.
Monness, Crespi, and Hart doing the, well, let's upgrade Square and downgrade PayPal when last week one of them tanked and the other one, okay, so maybe they just looked at the chart, saw Square bounce at $3 on Thursday, or on Friday, and they're like, okay, we like that one, and well, you guys know, look, if Square were to get back to 62, okay, let's be real, that was obviously, it's a thing at that level. I'm not sure we get another crack at that, at least not today. If it were to pull back, I'd look at a couple humps in here, like this 63.5, 64 zone where consolidated, and then up top, like 64.5, 65. Just look for prior Friday support levels to come back in. It's PayPal that gets interesting too. They had the event obviously underwhelmed. I just find it hilarious. It's like, okay, boom, they tanked on the event, let's downgrade them. Square bounced after the event, let's upgrade them. Maybe that's their science to it. But there was a bounce on Friday. Hey, good things for PayPal. They bounced on Friday. I just look at the bottom that broke on that event, and it was about $63. So if PayPal gets back to that price, I think I'd be looking for shorts on PayPal. The daily chart still actually looks pretty decent. It's holding the 50-period moving average, but it's sold since the event. I want to see how it can do when it gets back to that price it was when they had that big sell-off. It was there wasn't much of a bid on PayPal that day. So if it gets back to those prices, I wouldn't be surprised to see some sellers back there at 63.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get PayPal going again. We had AAL there on a little bit of an upgrade. I just think back down in here to 1450 or so would be a good little area to get long, or at least dump your longs if something happens. So I don't know. I don't trade airlines too much, but this 1450 area looks pretty good right there. 1460, 1450, something like that for a dip buy opportunity into AAL. I feel like that's going to be a good one there. And then Square, like what a move up that name had from the bottom there in October. It doubled. So it straight went from $40 to $80, basically in a straight line here from that October bottom. Well, I mean, October 31st, October 27th, all the way there up to 80, and now you're starting to fade out. So I just feel like this makes sense. Some of these, it's not, I mean, it's a large cap name, but not the largest. Huge move to the upside, now fading out like an Affirm, like an Upstart, things like that. So it's nice to get an upgrade, but you're still waiting out for that 6150 to break. So watch out for that. I actually wish it was, I own this stock, but I wish it would have been a downgrade. So then we could have been able to hit this $62 break lower. But yeah, stay long, up 0.5. I just don't know what to feel about the market on some of these slower moving names today. Like Square's up 0.6, but it can get hit so easily. I don't know. I'm just probably going to stick with SoFi, Microsoft, and whatever else is on this sticky note here. We have AMD, we have Tesla, we have Palantir. So a lot of the big names are going to be on here. We're just going to stick with those. Square probably not on the radar today.
All right, let's get into everything you need to know here as we head towards the open on a Monday. Brand new week, biggest earnings week of the quarter. Sharif's going to have a look at the futures here.
49.16, guys. That's where we closed out on Friday. The overnight low, well, yeah, 49.16. So that's good support. Let's say 4,900 as the level of support. That's where we consolidated as the bottom last week. The high for last week took us to 49 1/3. Let's say resistance at 49.33.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, super easy. Scan that QR code or go to watchlist.tradertv.live. All you need is an email address, and then we do your homework for you. That's really all it takes is an email address. Who cares about ChatGPT? We'll just do your homework for you. Everything you need to know right in your inbox every single morning. Microsoft top of the list this morning ahead of tomorrow's earnings report. There was 2 or 3 positive analyst notes this morning on Microsoft, testing all-time highs here in the pre-market. Once again, all about AI, and as we were saying, if you joined us 10 minutes ago or so, these new features that they're rolling out for ChatGPT, you know, on the enterprise side, but also on the consumer side.
Yep.
If you pay for the whatever paid version of ChatGPT, there's all of these different plugins available for it now that make it just next level when it's, you know, I think compared to a Bard, although I haven't spent much time on Bard. I did, however, steal your trick a couple of weeks ago and got onto it for the first time, which
Nice.
it was good.
What'd you think
It was
compared
okay.
to ChatGPT?
I mean, it's very similar.
Yeah, it is.
Same basic premise, but yeah. What about Microsoft here?
Yeah, well, look, Brendo, they're forecasting a healthy increase in revenue for this quarter compared to last year on the same quarter, 15.8%. They're looking for aggressive growth in Azure, one of their best and one of their strongest divisions, 26 to 27% increase in growth on the quarter for there. And the Activision acquisition this year is going to add about 16 to 19%. Growth in revenue to their gaming side, Brendo, but they are cutting about 1,900 jobs from gaming here after acquiring Activision, which is about 8% of the overall gaming division at Microsoft.
All-time highs early on this morning. We're back below that last one currently, but trying to hold here higher, 406.5 on a gap up for Softy.
Yeah, gap to the upside. Look, I think we keep talking about like AI this and AI that, and you're going to hear way too much of it, but that's what everybody has to do. From a practicality standpoint, the tools are fantastic. Like I've actually been using, I've been shifting. I'm not gonna lie, like I'll have Edge up there sometimes, and when I do, I'll just ask a random question when you guys stump me with something, and I'm like, oh crap, how do I pronounce this one company or blah blah blah? Like when is this earnings? And it's just easy to be able to get that. And it is going to replace search. There's no question about it. You're already seeing it happen. But we're here to talk about price action. Microsoft, I don't think we get down to the bottom on Friday. And the thing about that bottom is we showed you on the 15. I guess I'll quickly show you again. You had 3 days in a row with about the same low with that 402 area. So I think that's obvious. If it gets down there, you start looking for longs. The question is, what else can you dig yourself into? So when looking at Friday's top, it was a long, boring consolidation during lunchtime and then a longer one in the afternoon. That top was right at that 406. It is set up at these highs that you'll have an immediate test of that 406 level. So you can always see, well, not always, but a lot of times you'll get that false breakout, false breakdown. That could be in play this morning on something like a Microsoft. Now, I generally, like 10 times out of 10, I prefer that kind of a setup on a Tesla-style stock over a Microsoft or a chip name over a $400 Microsoft, but that could be in play. I'm more than likely going to be waiting for the 402 level on Softy, and then that's my jam this week for this stock. I think you've got to respect the strength that it has, but given the extra volatility that you've seen in some of the chip names and the fact crypto's in play now, iRobot and SoFi are in play, I think I just got to be patient and wait for the 402. If it ends up one of those days where it doesn't do a heck of a lot, you can always go scalp trading later. Look at what this stock did on Friday. It just held one bottom at the open. Once you found it, you could have scalped it. And then once it held the top in the afternoon, there were some scalp trades to the short side. And it's not as if that's a new thing. Like, it's going to show you some defined levels when it has an inside day. So you don't have to anticipate the inside day to trade this thing. You just wait for the big level. If it doesn't come, and this is still your stock, then you're going to want to wait for it to show you double bottom, wait for it to show you double top, and work from there.
Look, Microsoft doesn't get any easier than this. You just stay long. You buy any kind of dip you can. You buy this 404. I wrote down here on the sticky note 402. Here, I'll find it for you. I just feel like it's pretty easy trade, man. We want to stay long the best names. Brendan Shreve there talking all about chat. I feel like it's just going to continue to be a solid report there today. They're the only AI name basically monetizing anything right now. And you're going to see tonight, it should be huge. Everybody that I know that's using Copilot, And I actually talked with some people that are actually work at Microsoft at a higher level, and it's apparently going swimmingly. So we'll see what happens here. A lot of upgrades for Microsoft. Thing is, if you don't get long now today, I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, the report's going to come. They're really priced to perfection here. Huge upside move. I don't know. I'm already in it, and I feel like you want to be there. If you're trading this for a day trade, I think it's going to be fantastic. It's the #1 idea here today. But I wouldn't do anything this week. I wouldn't be buying AMD on reports or Apple or anything like that, or Google. Any name that reports today, especially or this week, if you're a big tech name, I just don't think it's right to jump right in and sort of panic if it's a sell or a buy. Like, if this name is up 10% tomorrow, are you buying it? If it's down 10%, are we buying it, right? We talked about Tesla getting a 3-day little move, right? And so now it's the 3rd day, and look what Tesla's been doing. It's really trying to find a base down here in and around 180. So instead of jumping in the first couple days and buying like 190 on a dip or 198 or whatever you're buying on these dips, now you can say, okay, we've held this 180 and it looks a little more solid. So I just feel like that's going to be the case with all of these names. Of course, we have this huge wick up here, but so let's just stay calm, cool, collected, trade it as if it's a day trade, and don't worry about the earnings report. Microsoft's a long.
All right, let's go on to Tesla. 2 days in a row back to the upside after the disaster that was earnings day. All the way down to 180 there. We're back at 187.50 or so. They're going to increase their spending for the remainder of the year. There was this note on the Freeport factory as well about ramping up production, or possibly ramping up production coming out of Freeport or Fremont, I should say. Once again, they turned that down a little bit going into the end of last year, so he was talking about getting it back up to where it was at that point. So more spending to come anyways for Tesla.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We were talking about this a lot in 2023 because they were announcing all these new gigafactories. We know about the one in Mexico, another one coming out in Spain possibly, and now maybe we've been talking about India. So a lot of CapEx. They're looking to spend more than $10 billion in 2024. By comparison, they spent $8.9 in 2023 and $7.1 in 2022. So it's just incrementally getting bigger. And this is not surprising. They got to scale the Cybertruck. We know about the Model 2 that's coming out. Where are they going to make these cars, Brendo? So unsurprising here.
Yeah, trying to hold on to some support anyways from Friday's trading session, guys. Still up 1% here for Tesla.
Yeah, we just talked a little bit about it. Yeah, we do the same stuff here. I mean, I think it's going to be 180 bottom. I don't think there's anything else to do. Forget about all the stories. Nothing really matters, honestly. You trade against what you see, and you try to have a preference. So it's a good story, so we'll try to go long. It's up 1%. The market's down or flat against that, so only up 0.14. So up against a down market, I feel like you want to trade the strength in this name, and it's giving you a bottom of 180. I think you can get a little, if I could adjust, well, I mean, when I adjust this, you'd see this bottom is like 182 from Friday. So I feel like that's probably a little safer area to buy the dips, 182, and just give it a second to do that. So Tesla, always a great trade there. You want to look, I mean, there's going to be Rivian, Lucid, all those other names to pop through as well. Rivian has a nice bottom at 15.
Yeah, although if 180 were to break, then I think that's going to be that'll probably be a popular trade as well to the sell side. But that has to happen first, right? So look, Rivian, that 15 level, that's where we were on Friday. I think you go back there. Look, Tesla is what it is. I think the 80 and the 82 speak for themselves, right? Like the earnings showed you that. Rivian 15, it showed us this bottom on Tesla earnings. So as long as it's holding, it's not quite up to 1% that Tesla is, but you had the wipeout bottom on Thursday and then kind of a consolidation, not a huge long opportunity, but 15 to 1540s, 1550s, not bad. It gets back into what was the afternoon bottom at 1520, that and 15. Like right in there, that 15 even, that 15.20, that's where I'd be looking for a bounce here on Rivian. And as long as Tesla holds the 180 and this holds the 15 level, I think you got a couple of distinct levels to work off of. One caveat, of course, is if Fisker sees $1 again, I probably try the short, but I think it's at like 83, so that's no time soon. It's getting far away from it. Same thing with Nikola. Like when Nikola pops, I usually try to short it, but it's not at any key levels just yet.
We're just talking about mobile services here. Rogers, we were talking about rights to broadcasting. Anyways, doesn't matter. AMD, back to the upside here a little bit ahead of their earnings to come Tuesday after the close for AMD. Is that right? I'll double check. It's this week. All month, these have been incredibly strong going into what should be a pretty exciting week here with the Fed and earnings from these.
Yeah, and a couple of comments today ahead of earnings, Brendo, specifically from BOVESPA Global Research. They're raising their price target on this bad boy to 195 from 165. Susquehanna also chiming in, raising their price target from 170 to 210. It's trading at 179.85 right now. Let's see what the rest of the day brings.
Yeah, Tuesday for AMD, just to confirm. But looks pretty good here, guys, to say the least, once again, after a gap down on Friday.
Yeah, well, okay, so it did get, AMD gapped down on Friday, but really at the open, it rallied pretty decently. So the bottom was right around 74s early in the day, and then it got right up to 181. If you remember 181 from Thursday, that's because it was that key linchpin level. It was early morning support, and then it was resistance on Thursday, then it was a 181 top on Friday, and it's a 181 level that I'm looking at today on AMD. It's just trying to hone in on, because I've looked at AMD, and there was a couple of days a few weeks ago where it was like looking short, and it was basically like it would make a top right around the level I liked, but then you just couldn't manage to stick with the trade. And I think part of it is just wait for the specific key level. You get it, you get it, you don't, you don't. So if I'm looking for weakness at 181, then I'm not going to try shorting anything other than a failed break of 181 or a failure underneath 181. If it starts holding above the bid, look for longs off that range. Like if it starts doing the stair step, be willing to take longs off of that 181 level. I just try to keep it simple. And I don't want to forget about some other chip names. I mean, Intel's the one that got squashed on their earnings. And it got to, you got to 45 after getting squashed on earnings and turned around twice in front of it. I mean, come on, it just might be lower hanging fruit. So if that comes into play today, maybe it doesn't because we're underneath 44. I think the 45 level on Intel looks nice for a short. And then the earnings bottom was at 43. So we like those key massive levels after a stock reports. Well, this thing went double digits downside, bounced off 43 for 2 days. So if it gets down to 43 even again, I'd probably just look for another scalp long for the bounce play. So Intel, you already got the earnings levels in there. It just might be the lower hanging fruit to trade until we get AMD tomorrow. And don't forget SMCI after the bell tonight. You'll get them on the market recap show.
Yeah, SMCI is going to be insane. That stock is nuts. But it doesn't trade the same as AMD. Maybe same directional, but this shouldn't be as violent heading into earnings as maybe it's been, but we're still looking at that 181 break. I mean, just over the last couple of days. Let's see if we can take this 181 out. That's going to be, again, another name here that we have on the stick. We also have support down here at 176. So, if it's going to stay inside right here like this, then we don't really want it. But if we do dip down into 176, I think that's a buy for sure. And then this 181 break, I'm going to be smashing that. So, again, market trying to hold out, AMD well higher, and they did catch an upgrade today as well, so we'll find out. Getting ahead of the earnings here, I think it was Jeffries. I want to just take a 181 break, and this is going to be something that we're willing to do, and I think we'll do that almost immediately. So, it can really get going and sort of rip your face off. We've seen that once we talk about like turning the machines on. It just goes and goes and goes. Like here's one move, another move, another move. So if we can settle down somewhere and pick it up, like, there's the 176 bottom that happened at noon, I guess, on Friday, and then happened again in late afternoon. So those are sort of the levels that we wouldn't mind catching a dip buy into if we do in fact go down, but you're well up, and that 181 is staring me in the face. So pre-market high of 180.65. You could take that if you want, but if you're going to take 180.65, I feel like it's going to go 181 anyways. And then I don't want to be stubborn with it. The VWAP rate here is at 180 flat, so if we take 181, let's just get out at 180 on the way back in. So $1 one way or the other here for AMD, I think is suffice.
All right, let's talk SoFi here. A nice looking start to the day anyways, coming off of better than expected earnings. SoFi historically has been a little bit late reporting. I noticed today it was overtly early reporting their earnings. So I guess it was a good report. They wanted to get it out there. Why not? But yeah, 15% here. Looks scary.
Yeah, there's a reason why they want to get it out early, Brendo. You're going to like this. Revenue grew 35% year over year on the quarter to about $615 million, and so did profit. They turned a profit of about $48 million. This time last year, they lost about $40 million. They also added quite a few new what they call members, essentially clients of theirs. They had 585,000 this time last year. Now they have 695,000. So good luck for SoFi.
Relative volume already at 3 for this thing today too. So very, very active in the pre-market here, guys, for SoFi.
Just a teensy-weensy bit. I mean, look,
Probably
SoFi,
so.
they got the beat. Loans were obviously better than expected. I think the guide wasn't, the guide was probably the only thing that you'd be able to point to that's going to be negative. As Sean already mentioned, it's 13.33% short float. Okay, it's called 13% short float. It's an estimate anyways. No need to be precise about that. So there is some risk of some shorts covering, at least. I mean, if you were a short and it's bouncing off the 50 and breaking the 200 and the 50, and now you're breaking this resistance here, maybe some people wanted to cover. I look at that level on the daily, 865. I don't know if we get a chance at the 863, the 830 level as well. Let me just pop that back in for you guys. We always like, I always like previous resistance turning into support. So that 865 is the first leg. And then if you get back into this double top at 825, those are the two areas that I'm looking to dip by SoFi. I do remember oftentimes SoFi, when it gaps up, especially on earnings, you essentially will see a dip at the open. So that's generally been the way to play it. So I'm looking for the dip in here. If it can hold on to this 8.6, maybe 855 area, I just got some 73s. I'd look for it to continue higher, break 9. I think it was 930, I want to say. Let me just zoom this further back here. Oh, this close, but when it got almost rinsed, was actually more like 940 down there. So I think 940, if it were to break 9, gives you a reasonable place that this could turn. So if I can go 20%, it's not impossible, but it can also dip back down in and be only up 5% or something. So patient with the dip buys, have your levels out there. I like previous resistance levels turning into support. It's already at the first one.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything else until 850. We talked about that would be a level of concern, and then I'm going to wait until we break a lot lower than that. I mean, look at this. The last time we got decent news, we opened up here at $10.40, and then we closed lower that day, and then it was 3 straight monster moves to the downside here, right? And so that's to start the year, so we know that they can definitely give back. But again, like here's their report back in July, huge move up to 1160, right? Closes the day, nicely done. Then the very next week, 2 weeks, all the way hit again back to the downside. So I would really like to see this thing hold above 10, obviously. Doesn't look like it even wants to get there today, which is a little bit whatever. It still has room to go, right? So you're up 14%. I feel like a 20% might be something pretty reasonable, which gets it up to like this 920 or so area. So up into there would be great. I think you want to cash out of anything that you have. If you can get it up to 920 or so, that'd be fantastic. And then I'm just going to watch out for this 780 mark. So that's actually right here on the 1 day. That's going to be the 50-period moving average. I feel like that's where we want to get out. We'll get this garbage out of here, go back up to the upside. But if you retake into here, then I think 750 and 7 isn't too far away, which would really suck. That gives back everything here today. But it wouldn't be the first time this has happened, and it probably won't be the last. So we're going to wait for SoFi. My next bid right now is 850, and I'm fine with that. You still have 12 minutes before the market opens, and then we'll wait for something down near $8. And then after that, forget about it. But you got to give this thing room. If you're getting in and out of this thing for 10 cents right now, not enough risk in my opinion, because we're just seeing it move 40 cents just on the pre-market on the way down. So if you're in this name, you're going to stay there and wait to see what happens on open. We don't have any open on balance yet because this is a NASDAQ name. So once that comes through, if it's a big sell, we could get into that 850 and then we'll see what happens from there. So yeah, that's an interesting spot for me. That's where VWAP is. So I feel like we want to trade around there, see what it does. That could be a monster long, but I'm not taking it until we get down there. So we're already committed. We're out at 20% for only 10 cents. We'll see if we can get a little bit more back in here down near 850.
All right, let's talk crypto here. Back to, I mean, it's not really doing a heck of a lot, Bitcoin, but we are holding above 42,000 this morning. Not a lot of volume so far on equities related to crypto, but positive nevertheless. If you remember back on Friday, we had a ton of analysts coming out pointing to higher prices once again. I just saw a note suggesting the ETFs saw their highest transactional notional volume on Friday since debut, so that continues to ramp up. Individually speaking, I think it was still BlackRock. That was the highest. I'll double check on that. But notionally speaking, more inflows still coming into these ETFs.
Yeah, that IBIT one, which is BlackRock's ETF, getting the most volume on my watch list anyway. You have the mining names all strong, Brendo, 1.68 for Morrow, 1.5 for Riot, CLSK 2.5%, Hut no slouch either, 1 1/3. We'll have to see how we do. We're above 42,000 now. I think that really that resistance level we're all looking at is that 50,000 mark, which we kind of almost came close to last time, not quite.
Interesting comment just coming, not related, but coming through from Airbus, the head of leasing at Airbus, saying that they quote unquote haven't seen the full recovery in China yet when asked about orders. I guess assuming that they're getting more because of the issues with Boeing, but saying they haven't seen the full recovery yet in China, again from Airbus.
Well, it's not like anybody else is going to be getting any extra orders from Boeing's woes. It's like that's the beauty of it, right? Like it's you only got two choices. Well, that's not entirely true. In the big commercial space of the airlines, that's all you got. Mara, wherefore art thou, Mara? A little bit higher. But it's been weird. It's actually been bleeding in a little bit. As long as 40,000 holds and 42,000 is our graphic aptly shows there on Bitcoin, I think the stairs to the upside are still valid. Mara was a good long that I probably should have reloaded this. We reloaded Square and found another way back in, but just not Mara on Friday on the dips. So we closed at 1785. That sets it up for potential. If it breaks 18, you could still have longs around the 1780 level, as this is just, it's a recovery bounce here, right? Like they sold the news on the ETFs, and this stock got cut, I mean, in half, really. And it didn't take very long. It took a little bit longer than for it to get from 15 to 32, which is pretty amazing. A lot of times you make a move like that, you expect to have some kind of a higher low, but in this particular case, it just holds 15. Now you're back above the 50 period moving average, which is about that $18 level. So I think if you're still in this relief rally mode, I want to be patient because it's gliding lower here. But Friday's close right around that 1785, maybe even like the 60s down there. As long as Bitcoin's hanging on, I'd rather not be fighting. It's not a stock you want to fight if support's getting taken out at 42, let alone the 40,000 level. But it was a little bit easier to look at on the clear gap up. And then you saw like it held the bottom, wicked the bottom on Friday, then put the higher low in. If it does exactly the same or the same kind of thing here today, obviously it still hasn't really made a good pre-market low. So I'd be looking at those previous prices from Friday to go for the dip buy. If it gives you the same sort of dip buy stair step up, you just want to be ready for it.
On Friday, one of the best trades on Friday was nailing this Coinbase long right here at 125. We took like $2, $3 early, and then it just faded the rest of the day. I was looking long Coinbase, and we were able to take that, and then that was fantastic. Back down. I mean, we didn't have anything down here, 121, 122. And now with Bitcoin over that, I mean, I have it up right here, 42,000, nicely over 40. Just reminds me of some of that thought that we had on Friday, and I was like, why wasn't it running? Like, why when Bitcoin started to move a little bit, we were at 40, then we were at like 41.2, 41.3, 41.4, and Coinbase is sort of going the other way. So for me, this remains a short. I feel like we want to short this 128, maybe into 130 here on Coinbase. I don't really want to be afraid to do it. It will, the spread opens up on this thing, but here's 130 on Coinbase, so I feel somewhat confident, or at least about shorting it into like 132, which are those wicks. So we'll wait to see if it gets going. There is a short float on Coinbase. This will be something that we'll have to look at as the trading is going on. But there we go. We'll put this down just, or up, I guess, just a little bit so we can see it a little bit better there. But that's going to be, that doesn't work. Let me move this up. That's going to be the price of Bitcoin down there. We'll watch it against Coinbase. Look, it's 924. I like the Mara idea. I like the Coinbase idea. But other than that, you have like iBit, I think is going to be something. We're soon going to get crypto on our platform. So that's going to be coming probably by the end of this week is what I've been told. So that should be really exciting. So we'll get that. But right now, here it is. Nice move back up to the upside. You might have had your opportunity. Nice sell-off because of GBTC in the Bitcoin ETF. Now you're getting a nice move upside. So a lot of people selling their GBTC to get into something else. Again, could be fee related. I don't know. But there it is, iBit. I think this is the one that's going to do the most volume here as it's an iShares product. Upside now, 24 bucks. I think you could buy this dip into 20. Well, it's 24 now. The 50-period moving average doesn't mean that much because it just opened up. But if you can get back into like 23.20, I like that. And we'll see. The good thing is they could just watch Bitcoin. So that makes it really easy. And there are the imbalances. So let's have a quick look to see if anything interesting came out on NASDAQ as it comes out at 355. We wanted, or 355, 925. Here's SoFi. We talked about where SoFi could come out for them. A sell, whatever. It's not really doing anything yet. That was a good dip into 64. But again, we're not buying that until it gets a lot lower. AMC, blah, 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 CISS. I don't know why I clicked that. There's Fisker. You know, yeah, it looks like, oh, there's Tesla. Okay, so the biggest name on here looks like by market cap will be Tesla. And I'm just going to edit this wick away, 185 and change. Was that a bid there for Tesla? I think it was, right? That's TSLL. Where's TSLA? There it is. Yeah, so it is a buy. So it is a little bit of a small buy there for Tesla. So I'm going to edit out this candle because it looks like it'll be a busy day here for Tesla and trading on the show.
So just one quick note. We mentioned...
I don't think we're going back. So.
We mentioned Flutter. That's FanDuel's parent. It's not a traditional IPO. The primary listing is in London. They are moving the primary listing to the NYSE. They will debut today. I'm in a trade. That should be it should be in play. I don't know exactly what time this will open up, whether or not it'll be at 9:30. We'll just have to keep our ear to the ground here. But FLUT on the NY, and I think that can put DraftKings into play today. And we talk about DraftKings in the betting space and all that good stuff, but the last few days, like really DraftKings. You're just going to say 38 is your bottom, 39 is your top. Well, if Flutter makes some kind of a crazy move, you might want to have a look at DraftKings breaking out of this range from Thursday and Friday, one way or the other. So I think this is going to be on watch today for me. DraftKings, again, whenever Flutter happens to open up, we'll be watching the two of them in lockstep. It doesn't mean they have to move together, but obviously DraftKings and FanDuel are a little bit related for those of you that are into betting. And hopefully everyone had a good weekend of betting. As you can see here, Flutter, grayed out. Again, it'll open when it opens. I'm seeing a tap of 205. No idea how accurate that's going to be because I really don't know when it's going to open up. SoFi did bounce off the 860. I was looking to add in front of that previous high, previous resistance, which is now turning into support. So that's the key for me. Like if it holds this first level, I think you can break out the 9. Second level would be down here at about 830, and if it doesn't hold on to that, you have 3-day support underneath $8. So take that stairs to the upside. Oh, I forgot about Zim. Not Invader Zim, but clearly with the sad news of what happened at the U.S. base, that strike has got some of these shipping names back upside here. So everything that's going on in the Red Sea, you continue to see volatility here. This has a 1540 local high, decent short float. And then on the daily chart, you've got 1565 in here. Now, I remember the last time we looked for a breakout. The breakout didn't work through the 15 quarter. It's got overhead resistance at 65. I think that's what it has to get through. So when I approach the Zim would be looking for it to fail that break and then trying to catch some kind of a dip on Zim. Let's go back to Brendo.
Yeah, just quickly, make sure everyone sticks around for 11 o'clock. Learn to Trade coming up at 11 for the midday. What are we talking about this week?
We're talking about gaps all week, Brendo, and today we're going to start with initiation gaps or runaway gaps. You're going to want to stay around for this one because a lot of gaps happen around earnings season. You got to know how to trade them.
Yeah, big time. Almost every day, in fact, there will be some sort of gap. So yeah, stick around for that coming up at 11 o'clock, guys.
It's not working, so you can't see our positions. Hopefully we'll be able to get that up very, very soon, like ASAP. We have 1 minute right now until the market opens, so I'm long SoFi. I just put a test trade in on SoFi to try to help these guys out, and that didn't work, so I just bought more here, but again, we just bought what we sold. We still want to get 850 back in for SoFi, and again, apologies. We'll try to just let you guys know what our fills are, and hopefully...
Right now it's simple.
It's crazy that there's like one guy in the whole company that knows how to fix this, but hopefully we'll be able to get his attention and he'll come on. So what's up, Adam DeLuz? What's up to everybody? Here we go, man. Only 30 seconds to go. Yeah, it was you know, it's a pretty fantastic weekend. Very, very busy. A couple good hockey games and lots of fun. So, all right, here we go, man. The NASDAQ is still about flat. Again, we'll see where it goes. Tesla will be on my mind early. We're already into SoFi. We'll watch that. AMD, so on and so forth. Should be an exciting one.
Absolutely. Oh, one more thing. Apple 193 from Friday. That was a big level. We should be, any pop, we're going to get a test of that. But Adara in 3, 2, and 1. I feel like that's a name we always talk about. So when we don't mention Apple, I know we're like, you guys haven't talked about Apple and Meta and all that good stuff. So SoFi, only position on for me. I'm 73 long, looking for the first dip into the 60s. Okay. Intel's trying to pop. I'm looking to short a pop in Intel today. And the market's still kind of flat, but Intel's making a move up. I don't know if we get 45. But the 44 level is right here, right now. So if it fails 44, I'd probably take a quick little shot at that. We said, why not short the pop in the name that showed you bad earnings? And that would have been Intel.
Yeah, we got AMD really went low side right there. So we'll pick something up very, very small. Was not expecting this kind of a drop on AMD as it was up 1%. And then we just dropped $2 on this name. So we'll have to watch out. $2 is not that huge. I mean, we're going to have a lot more moves coming through here as well very, very soon. But here it comes. We are bidding AMD 176.25. So there it is. So now we're long, and we're long a decent amount. So we'll see if we can get something out. And then if we drop through, I already have the order out, man. So like I said, we're not going to be too crazy with this one. If we break below, what do I have? 175-ish there, then we're going to get out. So there's a breakthrough, 176 on AMD. It's too bad. It came in there. We could have got a little bit of a better price long, but right now we're going to suffer the fate of AMD breaking back down below 175. Wow. So here it comes. They are really clocking AMD down here. We're going to be out of this all. Okay, it'll be a hit there, but wow. Wow, of course, now it bounces back up, but AMD nicely done to the downside right there, breaking through 175, and we wound up getting out there.
That was okay. That was.
We got more back in, but
I just got in and out. Whoa, quick! Thank goodness. Almost got trapped at the bottom there in AMD. I'm gonna get to SoFi in a quick second, but I just got a pop up in Intel when AMD's tanking like that. Okay, SoFi's at $9, so we'll get to that. We bounced 860 on SoFi. Now it's through the $9 level. This is absolutely flying, guys. So there is SoFi. This is now through that 9. There's not like when it broke 9, it was at 4. It's like very quickly. You're just absolutely flying here on SoFi.
Are we having fun yet?
920 is definitely going to be the next level to the upside. Wow, what a huge move there. That tank in AMD was a little bit wild, but I got hit on the offer on the way up on Intel. Like I'm watching AMD tank $2, and all of a sudden Intel's actually hitting me, coming back to the upside. So I am the only other position. I'm long SoFi 863, short Intel at 43.88 as we go to Adara.
PALI getting a nice push right off the open. Palisade Bio, a couple catalysts here. One, requesting the withdrawal of a recently filed registration statement, and also some positive trial data coming for PALI, guys.
Going
back
to Pally.
Yeah, going back to Pally right now, but we got SoFi with a big one again, man. So that's going to be a big, big win for us. Unfortunately, there we do have the bottom of the day, and we just made a decent amount back on the upside for AMD, but we are now only in half of what we have left. And if this takes 175, then we're gone on this one pretty easy and pretty quickly on AMD. We'll see if we can get another move back up to the upside as we'll wait on that one. Because the market was falling, Microsoft came into 404. We were still waiting for 402. Come on, AMD, get back up to the upside. That'd be pretty nice if that can happen. So we'll wait for that. And then Microsoft, we missed that dip buy opportunity there. Probably something that we should have looked at for Softy. If AMD, by the way, is going to take 175 right now, almost right now again. And then I have my next out is 174.50, which is right here, right now. So this one will be obviously one last hit here on this name, as it is really coming through back to the downside now. And it's pretty violent, man. You know, I'm watching this name just go up, down, like multiple dollars here at a time. We just got 174.68. Like this right now is a dollar club right there off that dip buy. But like, I don't know. I don't even know what to do anymore. There we go. We'll take an offer out. We have to take $1 on that. We screwed up the beginning part. Let's make some money at the end. We're now $1.40 in the money or so on AMD, but it's ripping around here.
Yeah, the volatility is definitely in play. We apologize for the position board. We are getting work on it. I do have a new position on, so there is. We have SoFi long. I'm short on Intel 43.88, and now Rivian temporarily bounced off 15. So you saw 15.03 right in here. It just got to 10s. Oh, could have taken that out.
Palantir.
Could have taken some 10s, didn't do it. I'm long now at 7s. I don't think I want to add to this unless it's like at 2s or 3s or bouncing off those bottoms. Let's see if we get the bounce. Had to look for a level to actually hold. And it was just straight to the downside on Rivian until you got to that 15 level. Intel, they of the bad earnings. When AMD went down, Intel went up. And Intel went right into that 44 level, shorted the 88s. It's right back in here up at these tops. You're getting some strength into this market now as the NASDAQ is just held green. So you got to watch out, especially for anything that was threatening these tops. If we break 44, I'm just getting out of Intel. No need to fight it too hard. There. SoFi is starting to come back in, though. So SoFi dipped into 860. That was that previous resistance level we mentioned. It broke 9s. I got some 915s out. Now looking for it to make a higher low that we can jump back into. The other name, obviously we're talking about some crypto, looking for some dip buy opportunities. Well, bit of a miss. The first wick on Mara was immediately right down to that Friday bottom, 1760, and now it's held. So it's going to do the dip and rip, just needs to hold a higher low. Haven't seen it just yet, still looking pretty heavy there on Mara, just turned red.
All right, so we have, we're still at AMD. We're long right here on AMD, and we're long at a decent price. So we've got a good one, I feel like, anyways. Long at 174.80s. So 174.80s right now on this name. I think it'll be okay, but we're going to have to wait to see how okay. So I'm offering 177 here where VWAP is. Let's see if we can get a nice move back to the upside here for AMD right now. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a tricky trade for sure for me right now. But we'll wait for it. If we get 177, fine. That dripped down a little bit too quickly. That is for sure. So right now, a little bit of aggressive play here, waiting for a little bit higher. It's still AMD, and I'm still pretty comfortable with it. Just, you know, want to get a little bit more. If I was looking honestly and thinking that 181 had a chance for breaking, feel like this is reasonable here to sit on this level for advanced micro devices and see if we can't take a little bit more than we thought on this trade. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get a little bit aggressive with it and hopefully be able to take it out. So here we go. Nice upside move. And there it is right now. That's $2 right there. So it's a double one right there. $2 in the money there for advanced micro devices.
Yeah, now we're getting a real bounce in this market here. Let's power it up. We just got through to VWAP. 1520 is next target on Rivian, bouncing off the 15 even level. It's the market that gave you the juice, I think, for some of these comebacks, because a few names were super violent, but you wick the bottom on the NASDAQ, and now you're trying to take out the sort of overnight highs that we were dealing with earlier. So I think that looks pretty good. Intel short still working. SoFi, for those of you still hanging on, it's back underneath the $9. It's trying to put in a higher low. I don't know that I want to reload away from the 860 area yet. But if you do take the stairs up, I want to try to respect that level if we can get there. We'd look for like 880s, maybe the $9 level comes into play for us as well. We apologize for the position board not working. Short Intel, 43.88, long Rivian, and long SoFi for myself. Palantir is now absolutely flying. Shout out to everyone in the chat mentioning this one to said upside. It's not at the $17 yet, $17 level yet, but if you remember on Thursday, big sellers at the 17. So taking profit never really hurt anybody.
No, and again, Palantir, another one of those. Where's that little button there? Another little sticky note name. Have a quick look at Palantir if you want. We're back to flat now on AMD as it's now $3 in the money. So this trade definitely paying off here. We bought 176. We should have waited for 175. So we got out at 175, then bought the 174s. So we're long right now 174.65 as the market continues to rip higher and higher and higher. And yeah, man, that's why we marked down Palantir. We knew that it was going to be, we didn't know it was going to be this kind of a mover. We'd already be long, but it came into that level there. And we should have just bought it. We were waiting for a little bit more of a dip, but congratulations. Like we said, anybody that has that one, that's all good. So we'll wait for that. And unfortunately, I know, the part of the show is the position board, and we'll get that going very, very soon. So here we go. Nice move up to 187 there. We missed that dip buy opportunity in Tesla as well. Look, I'm just happy that we've got SoFi loaded up right now as well on that dip buy opportunity. Wow, we are really, really like banking today, man. This is just going to be another one of those days where we'll start ringing some cash registers here early, and like SoFi, dip buy, dip buy, dip buy, buy nines. Like, this has just been an absolutely fantastic day. I hope you guys are banking so far with everything that we're doing. But it's been, you got to pick your poison. Intel was another one. Tesla's absolutely.
You seen DraftKings? Oh my goodness, DraftKings. Anybody have that 39 break? I mean, like that. Look how clean that ridiculous. Well, obviously, I don't. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm long. I know the position board's not working. I wish it was true, but you prioritize. We mentioned Flutter, which is going to the downside, money coming out of Flutter and going into DKNG. By the way, because it's like this isn't the traditional IPO, Flutter's already traded. This is FanDuel parent, so they already traded in London, so it's already open and selling a bit here. Obviously, a 3-minute chart's not going to show you much, but it's DraftKings to the upside, it's Flutter to the downside, and good luck if anybody has that one. I don't know if I want to buy tops. Not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to be trading up there on DraftKings. I'll look for a dip buy consolidation, something that works a bit better. SoFi still working to the upside. Apple, however, when this market is strong, trying to take out highs, Apple didn't get to 193, so no short for me, but it is trying to break these lows. So Apple bucking the trend of the market. Maybe this is just still try to find a more aggressive level to short on Apple. I don't know if we're going to get a chance at 193 is the way this is going. Adara?
Yeah, not seeing any news on this one right now, but second day running for SLNA. This is Selena Hospitality up about 40%. This one is a penny stock making really nice moves over the last 2 days here, guys.
Right. Here we go. We could talk about Boeing. We can talk about anything. Everything's starting to go upside a little bit better here for us all. I'm really just into AMD. So right now. So I'm also into SoFi, but SoFi's already been one of these type of situations. That's John Travolta. It's been one of these already. SoFi's been money. The thing that hasn't been money has been AMD because we had that little dip opportunity into 175. Let me check out what Nvidia is doing quickly here as we go. So here's Nvidia. Okay, so Nvidia has a huge move down into 608, 609. I recently sold some of this in the 20s. I feel like that's going to wind up being a bad move if I don't start to buy some back at some point because it's having a lot of pressure back higher here. All right, I'm still waiting for 177.80s upside now for AMD. We're going to watch out for that. I have to reload some of my scanners here. I don't think they're necessarily working. Okay, because I'm not getting any hits. What's going on with Google right now? 152. Okay, so that came back into a level. Oh, man. All these names are coming back in here. And we should have, that first dip opportunity, obviously we have SoFi and we have AMD on it, but there was some missed opportunities like this Microsoft into 404. Tesla's absolutely screaming. Rivian went down to
Disney screaming.
Yeah, Disney screaming. Bang, let's go. We like that one. And then Rivian went down to $15 as well. So you have to watch out for that. I'm guessing Netflix is probably helping that Disney move, but so could DraftKings, man. DraftKings is up
what a huge move.
Near that $40 there for DraftKings on that Flutter or whatever that was called situation there coming from the UK. So yeah, that makes sense why DraftKings is up.
Yeah, so just one update here. I know the position board is not working. Still long Rivian SoFi. I'm out of Intel. Shorted Intel when it faded that 44 level. There, now you can see that. This wick went right to 44 even. Shorted at 88s, got some out 70s, got the rest out. It double bottomed at 43.50. Now 43 is that low from the wick on earnings, and then 43.40 was the actual low on Friday. So jumping out of it on that bottom, the market's trying to take highs. Intel, I think, can give me a reload higher. So I'm going to look to short this name on pops. Rivian continues to bounce off that 15 level. I'm going to respect 1550 up here. Like there was I'm not calling it an iceberg because I wasn't really looking at the level too long enough, but there was a little bit of size there at 1550 that held for pretty much 1 hour in the pre-market before the open. So that 1550 I will respect. Get out in front of it. And if it dips, look for a bit of a dip buy action. So Rivian looking good. Apple, it just continues to flush and make new lows. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a little surprising. I thought the market had enough juice in it that a name that even if I thought it was weak, you get to short the pop. But Apple's not waiting around. Apple's waited till 12:30, 1 o'clock to flush the last 2 days. Today, I don't think we're going to get that chance.
Yeah, who knows what Apple's doing half the time, man. Some of these stocks are nuts. We should have looked at Apple a little bit more for sure as we go. But we did get $1, $2, $3 on AMD. So AMD does get us out at that 178. It was actually 350. What's up, Adara?
Yet another day to the upside for RVSN. Rail Vision, no catalyst on this one today, but it's been moving. This is the third day in a row it's moving. This whole last week it was really strong. This one does have a float of just over 1 million shares, so be cautious here. RVSN, guys.
Yeah, we know, guys, unfortunately, the position board isn't working, and it's being worked on. So we'll leave it at that for now, and hopefully it will get up very, very soon. So that's thank you for your patience and waiting for that to fill up. I'm waiting for many fills here on the stock market. But one of them, again, I'm only in SoFi and AMD right now and waiting for some more stuff to sort of happen. The market's now pulling back in. I'm interested in that Apple weakness story here that we have because it is, like what is going on with Apple right now as it's flushing pretty nicely down now 1%. That's Apple.
It's one of those, did we miss a story or something? Because everything else looks so strong. Just a shout out to anybody watching Meta 400. Let's just try to keep it simple. Meta just got to 399.35. So 400 is a big round number. Meta is obviously at fresh highs because that's how it's been rolling. I think we get a shot at a break today. It's not rocket science. When the stocks go stair-step like that, are we breaking 99 to not test 400 today? Yeah, we didn't come all this way to get stopped at the 1 yard line when you should have passed. I mean, come on, let's be real.
Yeah, stupid Marshawn Lynch right there as well. But all right, so we'll just continue to watch out.
Bang, bang.
Bang bang, yeah. You know what? It would have been cool to have Detroit in the.
I wanted them to win.
So did I. Even though they're at the NFC North, it's kind of like you cheering for the Patriots, but at the same, not really, because the Patriots more like you cheering for the Jets. Maybe
I was gonna say, I'm like
Patriots actually win, but yeah, no. So that would have been
Patriots.
That would have been nice to have them in there. I just think it's something different in the Super Bowl. But hey, you're gonna get back-to-back champs maybe in Kansas City. I got to find the spread because I said to Marissa last night, Taylor Swift be damned. I think the San Francisco 49ers will be, raising the Green Bay Packer trophy.
Neither one of us actually probably care this much about the game. We should just do a friendly, because I'll take KC if you want to do a friendly bet.
Yeah, I mean, I think I want San Francisco. I don't know,
it's
but
probably going to be even. It'll be a
oh yeah, I have not checked the spread. So yeah, we can definitely do that. No, we'll do that. That'll be fun. We do it all the time. Yeah. We'll do something like that. We don't really have a horse in the race, so that's why it's fun.
What? Okay, Apple's at 190 now.
All right, can we get Adara's over there?
Okay, I mean, come on.
Find out about Apple. Microsoft is absolutely ripping. I'm still looking at Apple as well.
Okay, the 190 level's here. Oh man, there's no news that I'm aware of. It's just Apple kind of pulling back like it's been doing. So this is what it is. We're not going to get 193. It's going to pull out the 15-minute chart so that you can see 190 is not a monster level, but we broke out from it on the 19th. So it's a big fat round number. You're only 15 minutes into the market, and Apple's down 1% into a flat market. The only position I have left on is the SoFi long. Out of the Intel short. Oh, I just took Rivian out. Apple just tested underneath 190. There was nothing standing in its way. Like nothing. Okay, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we're sorry about the position board, guys.
Now there's a seller chasing it down at 80s on Apple, 189.80. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from trying to catch a bouncer. I don't know what's going on with this stock. Go back to what was working. Just One update, I did get out of Rivian in front of pre-market highs. It failed 40s. I got out on the way back at 36. So the 15 bounce worked, and it's just down to SoFi for me. So SoFi is the only position I still have on, looking for this to take out the tops. SoFi, if you missed it, SoFi reported earnings. They had a beat. You know, the guy could have been better, but obviously, the market's liking what they see in SoFi.
I heard a report just in my ear here from Benzinga that Microsoft Teams is experiencing some issues, but the only issue Microsoft is experiencing is going long right now. I went short when I heard that story against 407.50, so we could have a 40-cent hit here with change. Like, Apple was tanking there. I just went over to Microsoft. I know Microsoft's strong, and I always said get long, but that was a story. I heard there was some problems with Teams. It doesn't look like maybe Teamsters, but it's not having any problems whatsoever right now going back up to the upside. So we are, again, we don't have the position board, but I am short Microsoft only for 10 more cents, as it looks like we're to take out the high right now. As Apple continues to move down, I feel like we want to look at Apple down here now. It's trying to make bottoms, I guess, at 189.50, but that got flushed pretty decently there, Apple. I'm going to buy this level now if I can get some 92s.
Affirm is at 43.
Affirm reported?
No, it's at 43.
Oh, Affirm. Okay, I was going to say Affirm reported. All right, so there it is. We are now long again on Apple.
So Affirm, remember Affirm, we did not trade. Oh, we traded a little bit in the afternoon, but then 2 days of not shorting it on pops. Well, it just tagged the 42.90 level, which is pretty close to that 43 top. Oh, please, did we miss it again?
Missed what? Affirm?
In your face, Neil. That's hilarious. Oh, whatever. Okay, you know what, though? This time I at least tried to short Affirm at that top. I didn't get it. You'll see. Thank you very much, Randy. Appreciate the refill there. We're going.
Thank you, Randy. All right, cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, that's.
It's Bank City over here.
Okay, so the market's pulling back in here, but
up,
obviously
Tim
Affirm just pulled back like clean 50 pennies off that 43 level. Tried to grab it, don't have it, but SoFi's back into the highs of the day. That's looking pretty good. Okay, Meta is now, we got 20 cents from that 400 level. I think we're going to see that any second now.
Wow, Microsoft is literally beasting all the way back up to the upside, but 99 problems, Microsoft ain't one, but Apple right now, that's starting to print it. We told you we're going to go over there and nail that thing, and now it's nailed to the wall, actually. 189.90 right now, instantly 70 cents in the money in 2 minutes here on Apple. So we're going to take a piece out at 58. Ooh, we just offered 58. Can we get it? Maybe not. We'll see. Or did we get it? Hold on a second. No, we did not. We got a 50 one time. So now we'll see if we can get that play to come back in as well. We're long AMD down here at 174.65, and we're going to wait to see what happens there. And again, we do apologize for the position board.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
It's really unfortunate. We had a software upgrade, but that wasn't taken earlier. We'll have to adjust it now, and we're working on that. So the team is busy. Look, Ramin and Fabian only have so much to do, you know. Yeah. Switching the show, doing everything else, social media and all that. They'll get that going, and we'll get it all figured out very, very shortly. So appreciate everybody's patience here as we go. We're in Apple long. I'll just tell you what we're long. We're long Apple 189.90. We're long AMD 174. This is for you Bears versus Bulls if you want it. Long Apple 189.90. Long AMD 174.60, and long SoFi 880. So here goes SoFi, nicely done to the upside. Our upgrades are kind of like the Tesla ones, except for they're not over the air. We got to figure this. Well, actually, they are. We just got to figure it out and download it.
Yeah.
So once we get that all downloaded, we'll be ready to rock and roll. As there goes SoFi, back up to the high of the day. It's SoFi.
Yeah, once SoFi gets to that 920, we can look at the next leg of that. But stair-stepping up is still Rivian. It's not retesting that 15 level, but it is trying to put in a higher low. I'm not going to break out 1550. I still think we want to take the stairs up, which would indicate a dip buy. Intel, I got out of Intel in the short, probably should have held it, but the market at the time was breaking highs. Now I'm looking at what could be a flat, like you're going to get to 43 here. The earnings bottom is right there at the 43 level. I think we're going to get this 43 imminently here in Intel. Meta, I guess we did come all this way not to break 400 after all. 399.79, no break for Meta. Actually, it rejected the 400 level pretty cleanly. I'd love to see it put in a higher low here, and then we can still take this breakout because it's a pretty strong name. I said Affirm gave you the chance at 43, pull back 1%. Here's the second shot at the 43 level. Like to see it come up, test that Friday high, and then look for the short. The Friday high was 43.20. It is screaming to the upside. Maybe a little bit of sympathy to SoFi, not that I think that's really whatever. We've seen Affirm will be adjacent to stocks. Like it's adjacent to Upstart. Upstart goes and Affirm just decides to rally. Could be doing something similar here.
All right, I'm just going to post it up. We have a big trade here on SoFi, man. SoFi's at the high of the day, and we've loaded it up once, twice, 3 times, 4 times on SoFi. Like I said, if you believe in something, then you trade it, right? And so there it was, man. We bought the dip again into 880. We bought that break. We got more at 880 there as well, and we took the 9 break. So SoFi really printing right here again. We're gonna have to watch out for Apple. We still don't have that high tick. We have 190.58 ready to go. We are long at 189.90. We're also long on AMD as that was trying to fade back in a little bit as well. Now that the market is trying to find a base, I kind of like what we're seeing right now. From a potential higher move. I mean, we talked about getting longer and as much long as we could on Microsoft. Didn't have that opportunity. Instead, I heard something in my ear about Teams and I went short, costing me a cup of coffee. Boeing bouncing pretty nicely off of 204. So that would have been something down there for Boeing. We'll see if that can hold or break. Boeing red into a green market. The ES also green, and so is the NQ. So we're just going to sort of rest a little bit here on SoFi, see if that one can get going. But for right now, it's at the high of the day, and I'm waiting for more. I think we can get it.
Yeah, the market's really kind of inside day. I think you just got to be on the right name. So SoFi is continuing to, it's testing that top. It hasn't really broken that high just yet. I think it's going to do it. It just hasn't happened. Rivian, I got out of it, looking to re-enter this one. I thought we'd get a dip into VWAP. Instead, we're breaking out that 1550. The story with Rivian was the 15 level's been gigantic the last 2 days in both directions. If it starts holding above 1550, then we'll have to take that level. iRobot, I haven't traded it, but there's that $15 level we're waiting for. So in the pre-market, Amazon and iRobot killed the deal. Really, that's all it is. And $15 was that wick high. It's now trying to test it again. But there's a lot of strength coming back into this name. Like to see it showing us, there's no sellers here. There's not a single lot over like a couple hundred shares when it gets underneath 15. If I see something like that, I would try to short it back into VWAP with this as my out. Rivian's still looking pretty good. I have not traded anything that's not Rivian, Intel, Affirm. It was the newest one we got into in SoFi. But Alibaba, we can't get to everything in the pre-market. And Baba wasn't really doing anything, but it is now flushing back into Friday's bottom, or at least close to it. So Friday's bottom, pre-market lows was about 72.5. That was a good price out there on Tuesday. So if it gets down there, 72.5, breaking 73, I'd look for a bit of a dip. So the new position was Affirm in front of the 43 level from Friday's high. That's a short, and then still long SoFi at 863. But other than that, try to keep it close to the vest here. Oh, we got a super chat.
Okay, good. So for right now, I just went into Tesla here to see if anything could happen with this name. We still are above VWAP. We just bought, again, we're hearing that hopefully this will be settled within the next 60 minutes or so with our position board. Again, sorry about that. Hopefully it will come back upside, but we're long Tesla right now. So we just took that position right here against 184. We still have that 182 bottom here that we're willing to look at as well. So I'm not going to do anything. This is just a starter position for Tesla. It's up right now. The market is, it's not really trying. It's not doing its best holding it either right now. So the market's trying to pull back. And again, maybe the best course of action here would be to dump a name like a Tesla on this kind of a move, but it still is making that move, and that bottom's still 180. So yeah, although we're long here at 184, for me this is a position worth holding on to because we have that 182. I still think we can get back to 185.50 for sure. That VWAP's at 185, so maybe we'll put an order in and around that. Here, let's put an order at 185. Roughly 185, 184.80. So if we get a dollar move higher, we'll take a piece out. AMD, so right now, we're almost in the dollar club with Apple. I want to thank everybody in the chat for that one because that was going to the downside and we were asking for news, there was none. So that to me was an easy buy. So we bought some Apple down there and we bought it twice. So against that bottom, now you can see the risk is like 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Good area for Apple right now. Let's see if, whoops, I want to wait to see if we get VWAP print. So 191 actually. Let's put in, we have a decent amount of shares, so we can do this. Let's put an offer at 191 as right now SoFi, again, man, the sticky note trade was to get the hell long on SoFi, and that's exactly what we did. So far today, Apple, AMD, SoFi, Tesla, and Microsoft.
And I said we got a super chat. I want to get to it here. Thank you, Garrett's Invest Co. Rum 97, squeeze score short 40% with catalysts ahead. Well, it's moving right now. So obviously you probably saw this already, but Rumble last week made a bottom at 5/4. So taking out this 630 level, when in doubt, zoom out, double top at 7. 7 looks, I mean, when you talk about things squeezing, you want levels that shorts are covering. Well, somebody's covering at $7, I promise you that. Whether it's a day trade short, somebody. So this $7 level looks real juicy. I think I'll be ready to go here at 7. I don't see how when you get a double top like that on Rumble, you don't look for that 7. It's at 655, but it could just be like Meta. Meta never actually broke 400. It got there and turned around. So if there's no breakout, there's no trade for me at all. But Rumble at 7. I'm down with you on that one. Looks like we did wake the pre-market high on Rivian here, still headed up. There's been one chance at a pullback. I didn't get it, so a little bit frustrating, but I am looking to try to grab this off of VWAP on Rivian. As we're going to the desk, it's happening now.
Lots going on this week. Pretty exciting Monday so far. We do have the FOMC decision on Wednesday to keep an eye on, and 5 of the Mag 7 are reporting this week as well, including Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Google. So definitely lots to keep an eye on today. Right now, we are slightly positive on the day. SoFi earnings giving a nice boost to the market right off the top here. In terms of individual names moving, Nvidia and some of these other chip names getting a bit of a boost to the upside, recovering after Intel brought some of them to the downside during Friday's session. AMD also reporting on Tuesday after close, so that's something to keep an eye on for sure here. Next up here, we do have Meta trading higher after Jefferies increased its price target to $455, and Meta is reporting after close on Thursday here, so keep an eye on this one as well as we head into earnings. Last but not least, Warner Brothers Discovery down about 2.5% after getting a downgrade from Wells Fargo and a lowered price target. So lots moving the market right now to keep an eye on as we head into the rest of the week, guys.
Lots in the market, you say. Okay, we like the market, and we like when lots is happening, and especially when it's an earnings play and it's a name like SoFi. So there it is right now. Awesome. Again, thank you so much for watching the show. Normally, we do have the position board. I'm going to keep saying it because we have new viewers. So we will get that position board loaded up at the end, as soon as we can here. And for sure, be ready for the midday show, which should be exciting. But SoFi is, to me, the easiest trade today. Catalyst, earnings, long, we liked it. It'd be my number 1 stock. It's at the high of the day. I said we could go up 20%. Looks like we're getting higher than that. So far, so good there for SOFI. Sticky Note Nation standing up as we speak. Also, Apple right now, $1 plus in the money. We just got 191. We're long Apple 189.90. So that was about $1.10 or so worth of that trade. We're $2 in the money on AMD, but AMD sucked early because we were waiting for 176. When 176 came out, we let it drop all the way down to a 175 break. Then we played off that little wick bottom of 174.60 and able to make this long. So we're long AMD right now, 174.65, but it did have to go through some pain on that one. So we'll hold out hope on it. But here goes Tesla. Let's go. 1, 2. Oh my God, we need this to go up a little bit more than where we are right now. So come on, Tesla. We are long right here. If you see 184, basically 184 flat, 184.08. So we're going to take a piece out if it comes up. We're waiting for 184.85. So I don't know when that's going to hit, but hopefully pretty soon. 184.05. I think we just got another app. No, we didn't. We didn't get any other fills, sorry. Thought we got another Apple fill there, but we didn't. Did we get SoFi? Yep, so SoFi 925, that's going to be a good fill. But yeah, we just talked about everything. There it is. There's Tesla right there again. So we'll see if we can get it back going. 184.85 on that dip buy for Tesla. We knew we wanted it and we got it. It's Tesla.
Tesla bouncing nicely. Actually, I'm looking at Apple in the other direction right now with the market rolling over.
Yeah.
It bounced nicely. Sorry, I just got some locates on Lucid, and I'm going to get to Lucid in a quick little second. I haven't traded Apple just yet, but it just got to VWAP and turned 191. It's just relatively weak at this point. As long as it's going to hold underneath the even dollar, it broke 92s down, 93 was resistance. You've already seen some support at 90s. I'm going to look to short off the 191. I was trying to get Intel on a bit of a pop, but Lucid broke the $3 level, and usually it's been short the pops on the EV names. Lucid has a decent short float. Here is 315 on the daily. I think I want to give it some shots, probably one at the $3 level if it gets back under, and then if that doesn't work, wait for the 315. So Lucid, very likely to be the first position on, well, short position on EV name. Was in and out of Rivian once to the long side, but if it breaks this 3, I'll be looking downside. I'm still only in SoFi. I just missed Apple by a little bit, but I like this Lucid short off the not $3 level. Just want to see it break under first.
I believe we're ready.
DraftKings.
Yeah, I think we're ready for Adara.
Oh.
No? Okay, we are not ready for Adara. Okay.
Oh, just one more thing.
Yep.
DraftKings is pulling back into that 39 level. It broke out 39 right at the open. As mentioned, Flutter opened today. Well, moved today to the NYSE. DraftKings blew up right away. Now pulling right back into this 39. Sometimes I like that previous breakout zone to be your dip buy spot. So looking for that here in DraftKings.
Nice. Okay. So again, we got some out on Tesla there for about 80-cent winner. Not about, a 4 and 80-cent winner. And now we'll wait. Again, we just reloaded it right here at 184 again for Tesla. So I know it's going to be hard to follow, but we are all over this. There goes SoFi again. We could probably take another piece out here as we continue to rip higher on SoFi. We like that name, especially for this position, for the long. Again, earnings report come through. You can find it all on the sticky note and at watchlist.tradertv.live. And again, the sticky note or the position board hopefully will get loaded up pretty soon. Here it is. Another reload lay, man. Let's just take a piece out at 58. Let's go, man. It's not a dollar club. Travolta's like, what are you doing, man? That's only 55 cents. But we'll take it. There it goes. Here comes a dollar club right now. We're long at 184. So there it goes. Premature hit there on that. But let's see if we can get back up to the upside, man. 186. I don't even want to put any more offers on Tesla, but I will. 186, I feel like. We had some couple wick highs there. So if we can get something, especially if this market goes, look, I think we can get a lot more on Tesla than that. But you know, again, it wasn't the greatest earnings call there, and now you can see that it's definitely. Apple's still $1, AMD still $1, and we'll wait for a little bit more.
Intel just broke 43 to the downside. Goodness, there's not much. There's no pep in the step of Intel right now. This is looking pretty darn nasty for Intel. Just to obviously respect the downside action here. If I can't get this to the south side, I just popped up Micron, which for everyone, reminder on Friday, was trading to the short side on a strong stock because it's at resistance on Micron. This is a 90 level up top. Every time it's gotten up here, it's pulled back. It's also a trend top on the daily, which is held for about a year. So as Intel continues to flush, and I'm looking for an entry back into that short, Micron is presenting another pop and fade in front of this 90 level. It will stair step up. There were sellers along the way, but it was trend up. I'll acknowledge that. But I'm going to short this off of the high here at 89.50, and then if that breaks, I'll try it again at the $90 level on Micron. Just try to take what the market gives you. Lucid blew through 3, so I was looking for weakness under 3, thank goodness, because Lucid didn't show it, and now it's headed right up to the 315. So it just happens to be the 24th. On Wednesday, this was the high in the pre-market that it flushed off of. Lucid absolutely screaming. It does have a short float. I think it's like 20% or something like that. So you got to watch out for it. But looking to short this only on some resistance. I was checking in on Rivian to see if that was pulling back. Not much dip on Rivian. I like Rivian long more than I like Lucid. Just looking for a dip buy here to 1550.
Guys, we're having just another one of those days again, and I don't know what to tell you guys. We're going to go Apple, AMD, Microsoft, SoFi, and Tesla here today. And there's Tesla, almost $2 in the money. And I feel like, again, even without the position board, we're literally telling you every single position and every single move and why we're making it and what we're expecting from it. So, again, like, subscribe, and I hope you're having a good time here today. The only thing that's been faded out right now, 176.70. Feeling like we might just want to take some more out here on AMD. We're long at 174.65. But again, it just keeps on hitting this VWAP. So that's 176.70. So let's put an order down there. AMD is almost $2, or sorry, Tesla was almost $2 in the money there. 176.70 460. We'll put an offer right here, right at VWAP. That'll be a little bit ahead of VWAP. If we can get that move higher, then we'll hold out for that. But you know what? I think AMD can come through this. Let's wait for it. I'm going to put another offer here up near 178, 177.75. Let's get greedy. I feel like we've got a good position here. Tesla's rocking. AMD's rocking. Apple's $1. Like we've got Apple $1, AMD $2, Tesla $1, SoFi huge. Again, so this has been another fantastic day. Too bad the position board isn't going, but we will get that up and down very, very soon. So, you know, thanks for watching and thanks for your patience here. But we're still having the day that we thought we would.
Exactly. And again, thanks for your patience. I am now in Apple off of VWAP here, 191. Apple has been stair-stepped down. Obviously, you saw at the open. It was ridiculous. It was wild. It caught that bid at 189.60 abouts. But the 91 simply tested it once, came down. I was in and out flat a couple of times there because I had an overtop stop. So I was getting in and out flat twice until I realized I had that stop. And we jumped in at the 90 level. If it carries through 191, you just got to get out. Mara was the other name. We're looking, let me just cancel my order. We're not going to get Mara at VWAP. Mara is now breaking out the tops. Looks like we're not going to get the dip that we wanted into 18 even. If it takes out highs, I'm going to sit out the high break because I don't like taking 1880. 19 will be there. I think we can go back to VWAP. And now 1820 is VWAP. So I'll sit there looking for about 30s on Mara. This was the name we wanted as long as Bitcoin was going to hold its support levels, which it has done so far. I want to double check in on Meta. I don't think, we're not close to that 400 level. Just going to cancel. I had a breakout set for the 400 on Meta. No longer going to be there. We're now down at VWAP, so $2 away. I'm not going to leave an order for a breakout. If it goes $2 in a couple of seconds, I don't want to be sort of caught with that trade. And then SoFi finally coming in. It just got back underneath this 920. I think the next step will be $9 in VWAP in here if it wants to continue to go higher. So do not want to ignore SoFi. Yes, it's been a good long, but there can be, if it just continues going higher, there can still be some dip buys in play. Remembering Intel just ridiculously weak right now. It's broken this 43. I'm looking for Micron shorts because I don't want to short the bottom in Intel. Might not even get a chance above VWAP on Micron. I might just take it at VWAP.
Yeah, it's funny because we're in AMD. AMD is super strong, of course. You got it's what you pick, right? I mean, Intel weak, AMD strong, so play them the other way. 177.50. So we did get a little bit greedy. I was waiting for 177.75. Let's put one out now a little bit lower than that, and we'll see if we get that fill. We're $3. We're almost $3 in the money now. We're long at 170. Here it goes. Let's go. 10 more cents. We're sitting at 177.35 on that mark. All right, little baby position starter right now for Softy. Again, like the trade here, but don't know if it's going to work. So we'll start it, and then we'll try to play it off of this bottom, 406.35 or so. That should be where my out is. Yeah, breaking. Actually, here. We'll put it on that break, 406.29. If we break lower than that, then we don't want it. But we're starting to average in here. If it does come in, we're waiting for 407 to get a piece. That'll be the first average. And then we'll get it back a little bit lower than that if we have to. But right now, Tesla's really cruising, man. This is now $2 in them. We have two $2 winners on board right now. So we're $1 in the money on Apple. We're $3 in the money on AMD. We're $2 in the money on Tesla. And we're 35 cents in the money on SoFi. We just got touched a little bit down there on Microsoft at 0.78s or something like that, 12s. So we'll wait to get full, hopefully, if it comes back. We only got part fill down there at 407.12. And then we're just going to try to play Microsoft relatively strong. Look at the day so far. Market's been pretty flat. Microsoft up 0.8. So again, we do miss more shares down there, but we did get a little touched. So let's see what happens now. Hopefully a re-look at 409, and that's where we're looking to get out of that one, 409-ish.
So I just got into Micron. We'll quickly go over this one.
I buy Tesla.
Went to VWAP here and pull back. Obviously, you're getting some serious strength in Lucid. I'm going to get to Lucid in a quick second for you guys. It's going absolutely buck wild. If we break above VWAP, I'll duck out, wait for the 89.50. Looking at this from the daily chart, it's the resistance up top on the daily. We risked about 15 pennies on Apple there. Short underneath 191, out when it breaks 191. Not going to fight the stock. It's on that upward trajectory. But Lucid is now Like there hasn't even been a red candle on the 3-minute chart. This is just, it's a pure squeeze at this point on Lucid. I'm going to quickly show you guys 27, I think I said 22. 27% short float on Lucid. The volume's already about to cross the 24 million mark. And as I said, there has not even been a red candle just yet. I think you could get some kind of I think there will be a pullback at some point. But yeah, I'm going to be very careful. I paid for locates on it, but I'm not just going to jump in. I want to see some sign of weakness first. I was sitting at 39.8 on DraftKings. It bounces at 39.10.
Wow. So
I'm just going to wet the proverbial beak in the teens here in front of the 39. Was looking for that dip buy. You can see it did bounce off of 39.10, so that's close enough to 39 that that'll engage me. But Lucid, I mean, that's the last time we saw Lucid do this was, well, okay, where it felt this strong. I shouldn't say it wasn't as big of a move. This is not as big of a move as the last time we saw this on that Saudi day back in January of 2023. But the manner in which it's going to the upside is a little bit similar. But clearly the percentage is nowhere close. Adara?
Just another one of these EV names getting a nice push to the upside. FFIE, Faraday Futures, getting a big move up 11% right now. Not seeing any news on this one, but just overall strength in some of these smaller EV names, guys.
Well, it's because I mean,
they're all
Lucid's moving them.
They're all going, but we got the big money maker over here regardless. So let's just go bang on that one because it's Tesla again, man. And we just took some. That's AMD. Tesla's $1.40 now in the money and trading quite nicely. So we'll wait to see if it wants to continue upside. This is probably helping the rest of those names. AMD is now $1, $2, $3 now in the money on AMD as we brought that one back to life a little bit. We're still $1.25 in the money on Apple. To me, an easy pick down there at 190, but you know, it's easy to say when it's all the way back to the upside. So that's a good one there. As we're cruising, man, we're Greensville today. We only have one red name. That's going to be Microsoft. And we're trying to correct that ASAP here. And that's because we went short there at the high of the day, which, you know, looking back at the sticky notes, stay long, only be long. But again, I told you what we heard in our ear there, that there was some problems possibly with Teams, but that doesn't appear to be any problem at all. All right, nice move back up. We did bounce off the 50 period. Woulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Focus a little bit more on that. Let's take a piece out on SoFi. If we can get, we just tried to get a 23 there. Let's just punch out some 21s. There it is. So we'll take some 21s out or 21.5 on SoFi. I just don't want this to go back in. We've done a lot of damage on this name, and the number one name for me today will be SoFi, but it's Tesla pending right now, and Apple actually is, they're all there. They're all there. So it's pretty equal today. The only name that we're red on is going to be Microsoft. And we've got a decent winner right now on Microsoft. So let's see if we can't get this going back up to the upside. Right now, Microsoft, again, I apologize. We're long at 407.20 right now for Softy. So let's see if we get it a little upside there. We keep on stopping at 60s. We'll see if we could take a piece out. But ultimately, 408.50, something like that for Microsoft is kind of where I'm looking for this trade to settle down. So far, so good. And unfortunately, guys, like GME and all that, there's not much I can do about all those stocks. I'm looking at these ones right now. Long, look what I'm long. Long Apple, AMD, Microsoft, SoFi, and Tesla. So I need this market to continue its climb higher here.
Yeah, look, I see GameStop, but this is not really moving. GameStop is inside of the range of yesterday. You saw what the EVs are doing. The squeeze right now is in EV names, and Lucid is leading the charge. Fisker, I just paid for locates on Fisker. I said if Fisker got close to $1, look for the dollar short, and that might be the better play than trying to find a top in Lucid. Like Lucid at this point, like the volume is just continuing to hold higher. It did one little pullback, but I saw that wick, and it's like, why not go short in Fisker instead of Lucid? Lucid up 23%. It's the one with volume. I look over at Fisker, and when I see this, it's just a little bit easier to sink your teeth into trying to go the other direction. If Lucid pulls back, probably going to drag a few of these names with it. DraftKings trying to hold on to that 39. Again, if you got the breakout, great. We talked about that one in the pre-market, but we did not have that break set for DraftKings. Now I want to go long, basically back into where this whole thing started. Which was at that 38.70. So we'll give it back into there on DraftKings. This is on sympathy to Flutter opening up. Flutter is, of course, FanDuel's parent. This is their first day on the market. This is what it's doing. Kind of holding some higher lows in here. So DraftKings in play, I think, mostly because of that. We're in and out of Micron off of VWAP there, just trying to keep it tight to the vest. I still like shorts in Micron, but I prefer it on the way to 90. If it's going to go stair step, I might take another shot at VWAP here in Micron. Just about 15 cents on VWAP. I'll try that again if it showed me some weakness underneath. But I want to watch right now. It's more about this Lucid squeeze EV story. Lucid fails this high. I'm looking to short Fisker underneath the $1 level.
All right. Yeah, we're just watching these stocks continue, man. But some of them are falling back in a little bit here, so we'll wait to see what's happening. But for right now, we do have a couple of stocks falling back in. We have Tesla's coming now, is only $1 in the money. But we already talked about some of these lower names to look at, including Rivian, Fisker. Lucid is continuing to go ham as well. So we'll just look at that. AMD is now $3.50 in the money. So we're just going to continue to watch that thing print, hopefully higher and higher and higher to go on that name. But that's what we're doing so far, and hoping that we can get a little bit of a kick higher on AMD. I mean, again, I still think we can. So we'll wait to see if that happens. We're getting ready for Adara. We do have
Meta's back over 99.
Meta's back over, and then Microsoft. Okay, so here we go. We're red on only one name today, Microsoft. And it looks like if this, we just took our last, actually, what am I doing? We should be having some more bids down here. Oh, 55. So we do have some bids at 55. So once that comes in, we'll get another fill, and then watch out for a drop below the low of the day here on Softy. So that's something that I'm looking at right now, but we should get another bid soon. Don't know how we missed that 55, but it could come in. So if you see me get long, more Microsoft, it'll be at 406.55, and then my drop off for this to be wrong is breaking through 30s. So I thought Microsoft would be a strong name today, a name that we would want. Doesn't look like it's showing us that right now. So we'll buy these dips and see if we can get it to work. It's Microsoft right now trying to buy some of these lower dips. But we do have, I think, ready at the big screen, it's Adara.
Just a quick note here, if you are trading Flutter, FLUT, Flutter CEO speaking on CNBC right now, so just something to be aware of if you are in this name. In terms of small caps, we're starting here with the IWM, the small cap ETF, the Russell 2000, making a new high on the day here amid lots of strength for some of these small cap runners, including Palisade Bio up over 100%, a little bit stagnant now, but still pretty strong here after announcing some presentation of some of its data at a Crohn's and colitis conference. Also strong today, RVSN looking to run again for another day after lots of strength last week, up over 50% right now. No new catalyst in this, but the float for this one is just above 1 million shares, so definitely be cognizant of that. Last but not least here today, Cardlytics, CDLX here, up quite a bit after raising its preliminary quarterly guidance. So lots of small caps running today to keep an eye on, guys.
Yeah, and led by, well, I want to say led by Lucid, but I just looked back at Rivian, and thank you everyone for reminding me that Rivian just continued to go. Didn't see that coming. Like on Friday, it was 15.50. That's what it was. That was the move on Friday. So today, when 15 bottomed out, you know exactly what I did. I got out when it looked like it was turning at 15.50, and then all the EVs went absolutely ham, so congratulations.
Yes, sir.
If you got them. Rivian 16, if it pulls back in, as I said, if there's a curl in these, I'm going for Fisker because it's still underneath $1 and not nearly as, like the volume and volatility is not as crazy, it doesn't seem on Fisker, but they're starting to turn in here. I might take a shot off the 95 level on Fisker. So if you see it, again, the position board's not working. Long DraftKings, long SoFi, looking to short Fisker. I almost said FSLR. Fisker, FSR, as that is looking to come back down. I just took it for the first time. Seeing this pullback in Lucid, seeing that little dip that we saw at 16 on Rivian as well. Just looking to try to grab the one that's at, I think, a key resistance level, but acknowledging the strength you're seeing in these squeeze names. So, you know, Fisker has had a couple of good legs. The day that it broke the one, I was short off of the 97, 98 area. So it looks like I'm trying to have that level hold one more time here. Oh, yeah, Meta. Meta again? Okay, maybe we did come all this way not to break 400 on Meta.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, well. Maybe should be shorting in front of 400.
Okay, yeah. Wow, this has just been again, like we got out of Microsoft and then bought it again. It broke 406.50 there. We bought it again at 406. But again, it's going to be hard to follow, so we're just going to keep on telling you what we're doing here. Apple, AMD, Microsoft longs, SoFi long, Tesla long. I got a little nervous about Tesla, so we wind up taking that dollar there on that move. So we'll wait to see. We just got out at VWAP there. Again, long 184, out 184.50, but it's everyone's favorite segment. What's for lunch today? I'm going to get right to the chase here because, we got lots of trading to do. All right, it's Santa Fe grilled chicken today with rice, pilaf, and sweet corn and mixed bean succotash. So that is what's for lunch. It's another interesting day here in the Trader TV Live lunch realm. All right, so Microsoft, again, we're long right here. Let's see if it wants to go. We took some pieces out at 50, only 25 cents. The market's bleeding down, but if there's one name that I'm going to trust today, it's going to be Softy, but it's not really too trustworthy for me. This will be the only red name that we have so far today. So yeah, trust be damned. We're down on Microsoft, but we could change all of that with a nice upside push right here back into 407. So that's what we look for. We look for that on Softy, and we'll see if that can come in hopefully quicker. 407 is my next target. I did some Palantir bidding lower, but that didn't hit yet for NASDAQ. So Palantir is still all the way up. Nice look there for PLTR as that continues to climb as well. Yeah, not much else to discuss right now. Microsoft long, Tesla long, SoFi long, Apple, and AMD.
Okay, here comes Meta now. This could be it. It's a 399.5, which last I checked is close to that 400. As I said, I did get into Fisker, so that short at essentially 93 cents. It's like 92.8 is my current price. Not that they would actually show the decimal points, but I am short that watching Lucid. Okay, I'm gonna just put my order in. If we don't break it, we don't break it. Every single time I think it's imminent, I pull it up for you guys and then nothing happens. Like we don't make that press to the top. So Lucid is in the midst of this pullback off 340. Rivian as well, pulling back underneath 16. I said I would go to Fisker, so I grabbed it short, added to underneath the 93, and we'll see if it gets back. If VWAP is at 90 or just in front of the 90 level, so that's where I want to get my first outs, out in front of 90 on FSR. There was one more thing I wanted to get to, because if we can't trade everything, we can't look at every single stock, all that good stuff, but there is one name that we have not mentioned that had a massive run last week and is not really doing the same. So the market's flat. Netflix is down 1%. Just going to remind everybody, we were saying was it 548 to 550 was that big level. But Netflix, a bit of a stair step to the downside, worth keeping an eye on here. Like this is one of these mornings where there's a lot of pretty strong names out there, and you might get the sense that the market is strong. We're right back at the lows, and you want to have some short ideas. So I got two on, I have one on, that's going to be Fisker. Probably should have Intel still, but we're out of the Intel short. Just watch out for Netflix. We get down to 550, I think that's a good buy zone, and it is headed down there. Intel doesn't want to get to VWAP. What can I say? I want to short VWAP, can't get to VWAP. We just got to be patient with it, give it a chance. Fisker now breaking down. Still haven't been filled out in front of 90. I think it's just a matter of time. But I'm keeping a very close eye on Rivian and Lucid. These are squeezing, and if they bounce off VWAP first and get back to the highs, I want to have taken some profit out on Fisker. So it was looking at the others start to turn. They got me into this position, but I wanted to follow through as well.
All right, we got a coffee reload coming from the professor here.
I'm good. Thank you, Sharif, but I got the heater. So it keeps this one warm that Randy got me.
Yeah, nice.
Shout out to Obi.
Yeah, shout out to Obi. What's up, Obi?
Coffee mug heater there.
Yes, thank you, Obi, for those coffee mug heaters, for sure. We're on a heater with Softy, but it needs to go a little bit hotter in order for this to get going. We're still long at 406 downside. Like I said, you guys can easily just super chat us or ask us in the chat. We'll tell you if we're green or red on a symbol, and we'll definitely tell you our prices. Tesla, good question there from somebody in the chat. I'm long at 184.09 right now, so 184.09. And it's just because we bought this 184 a couple times and we got ahead of them. We never buy 184 flats. So we got a little bit ahead of that. But just so everybody know, we're out of 75% now of this Tesla trade. 25, well, I guess 20, 40, 60, 80, and somewhere else a little bit less than that. So 75% left on this Tesla trade. We do have a new position. Neil just mentioned trying to find something short. So let's go like that right now. Travolta's like, what you got, homie? And we're short this. We're short Google right now. Google underneath, underneath, underneath. Let's see what happens. We do have some numbers coming out. We'll figure out what's going to go on with those with Adair at the desk at 10:30. But we're short Google right now. We're short 150. Whoops, we're short 151.90 right now on Google. So short Google, long Tesla, long SoFi. The number one stock today for, well, not really. Disney right now. Starting to go back up to the, yeah, let's go. Disney's a big winner, man. Disney's going to be a big winner. We're long in and around 91-ish, and I'm thinking about getting out. But right now, Disney's starting to go and starting to break, man. I really like this. Not only that, I have a little more shares than I thought, and we got a decent little dividend. I think it was $100 or something like that on Disney the other day in our swing account, so that was really nice. Here goes Tesla, 185.50 right now. Okay, here we go. Some nice moves to the upside right now. Let's see if Tesla can hold. Tesla, $1.20 in the money. AMD, $2 in the money right now as that continues to go upside, right? Apple, $1. That's about it. And Microsoft, holding on right now. Oh, there it goes. I was going to say Microsoft barely holding on, but there it goes, breaking 406. So we'll slap a fail on that. Hey, we could be red on one name today, right? And that'll be it. It'll be Microsoft. That's too bad because I did like the long. I guess we have to wait for a lower bid on Softy.
Guess what finally broke the 400 level? Meta, after I'd say like multiple tries here to get through 399.5, it just broke out. I ended up getting slipped to 19s. A 400 break got me 19s. I'm sure people could have got better than that, but that's the price I got in. Looking to try to grab something in front of the 50 level and then 401 if it's going to take the stairs up. Breakouts need to work right away. It is 10:30. It's right on the cusp of when I don't like taking breakouts, but it did get under that cusp, and I was waiting for it. The local high here is at 75. If it holds that, we just keep hunting for more to set upside. Fisker finally gave a print down at 90. So we shorted it off the 93 level, my price 92.8, and then got a quarter out here at 90. I want to look for 88s next to set downside, but the new position was Meta for me. Good timing, because I was just about to discuss Mara not getting the VWAP for a dip buy. Let's go to Adair and see what's going on with other names in crypto.
Yeah, a really interesting note here coming with regards to PayPal. So they've invested $5 million from the PYUSD stablecoin into this crypto startup Mesh. So that's kind of interesting, $5 million worth of their stablecoin going into this investment. So just something to keep an eye on there with regards to PayPal, which is reporting earnings next week. In terms of Bitcoin itself, very flat on the day for the second day of the row. Slightly negative on Sunday's trading, but generally pretty flat, very much indecisive around this 42,000 level. So here we are, Bitcoin just above 42,000, 42,034 right now. Ethereum right around that 2250 area as well here. Pretty mixed, but generally negative for a lot of these. But Dogecoin up 2.5%, Polkadot up just under 1% right now. So very mixed overall, guys.
All right, well, this market is not mixed at all. The market's trying to go back up, but I guess pretty mixed on the day so
I'd say
far,
it's
right?
mixed.
I mean, it's like up and down.
Mixed is fair.
Now Microsoft's back over 406, so that will be a fail on getting out of that one.
Meta failed a break.
You know, it went down. It failed that break, so there's not much we could do. And it looks like we're about to get stopped out of this trade as well as Google starting. Ooh, I just want to cancel that out. Google's starting to go back up to the upside. Let me get a little bit more on right there. I might be acting like a moron doing this, but we'll try Google one more time upside. It's a big move right just back into that beginning part of the day now. So we'll see if we can get up to the opening sort of rush there before this move down. So we'll average back into Google there. We got out a little prematurely on that play. I feel like we need to at least wait for the 200 period. 152.40 on Google. Reason why we went short was it was against the market for a minute there. Might not be anymore though.
Yeah, we got out of Meta, not just, but during the segments.
Oh, come
the 400
on. Now it
level
dropped.
doesn't hold the local high. I would love to see VWAP. If you're going to fail 400 and you want to stair step it, I mean, obviously entry at VWAP is going to be appealing because then you can be in the money into a 400 break. But that pullback is real on Meta, at least temporarily. So just going to hang on to Fisker. There we go. That's starting to break. I thought I was bidding in front of 88. Okay, let's get a bid out in front of the 88 level. Actually end up immediately getting filled at 88.3s. That's continuing to pull back. Now, it's up 10%. Why is Fisker up 10%? I don't know. Probably has something to do with Lucid being up 17%. And Rivian being up, okay, Rivian's only up 2%.
Wow.
But it's a good-looking bounce. So it's at VWAP right now. They're continuing to flush. I said I liked Fisker because it was underneath that $1 level. And all roads are leading back to these bottoms. Intel just cannot seem to get to VWAP. If this market wants to take the lows again,
crazy appreciated.
the next pop, I think, gets me into the short on Intel. So we're short Fisker. Out of Meta, that was a fail break at the $400 level, and we're still in SoFi. The thing about SoFi, it hasn't given a dip into VWAP. What is that? I don't need that line on the chart. Hasn't given a dip into VWAP just yet, and you're still working off a 930 top, where I can kind of think, like, why wouldn't we just see the 9.5? Wow, I'm missing data on the daily chart there. Why wouldn't we just see that 9.5 zone that was a key closing price? I think it's like back on the, I think it was the first day of the year, actually, on the 3rd.
You know, that was a good idea to get back in. I don't know why we punched out there on Google, to be honest with you, but that was my bad. But we got right back in. Now Google's a positive name for us. So hopefully you didn't punch out, but if you did, you did. All right, so there's Tesla. Again, we just got another piece out. Every time this dip happens, I just get nervous about these longs because we've been crushing. So it's like, I don't need any of this to go through. You know what else we've got on? Do you still have SoFi on?
It's still breaking.
Yeah, so Neil and I both still long SoFi here as 935 right now. So this is going to be a monster trade on SoFi, man. It's going to be the #1 stock. And if you guys are looking for anything, again, normally we have the position board up. Apologize, we got a software update that is not working out. So we'll have to wait on that. We are huge on Google right now, by the way. But again, please, like, there's the $9 break on SoFi. Get out all the way down to $8.50. Like, I don't, and like Tesla long here, Palantir long, Microsoft's the only red name that we have. That's long. That's going to be wrong. We'll talk about that. And then AMD's been an absolute monster. But go over at Trader TV Sean. I just want to thank everybody. Oh, here, because we haven't talked about this, we also have something called a podcast that we do around here. And it was the best it was the best podcast so far, hands down. So go over, find it. Hold on a second, let me just get it for you here as we go. We're thinking about throwing down some guests coming up very soon on this one, including, we'll find out. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But here it is right here. Look at this, over 20,000. I just put this up last night, over 20,000 likes or views on this. I wish it was likes. And then also the biggest and the best, where is he? Brian Shannon also talking about how good this podcast was. Go find it. It's this handsome gentleman and me right now. It's the Markets Podcast. It's episode 11, and it is screaming up the Billboard 100 as we speak. So go find that out for you right now. And the reason why it's screaming, A, is because it's the best content out there, and B, because we're real. Look at this trade right here on Tesla. There it goes to the upside, man. We're not hiding anything. This is a big trade here. It's Tesla. It's a nice upside move. And then also Google right now, putting it right back in. So it goes from a nothing stock to one of the top stocks traded here this morning. It's Google.
Google getting off that schneid. The market, this is still a very much an inside day for the markets. But I just want to quickly, here, I'll show you Square, which is up 5%. And I'm going to get to PayPal in a second. But you are now testing the lows again on the NASDAQ. Like, how many times am I going to look at stocks going crazy to the upside, and then you're testing the lows on the NASDAQ? Now, obviously, Block is having a good day. They got the upgrade when PayPal got the downgrade. But you are right at this massive 68 level for Block. If there's going to be a curl, it's either here or here where I would take the shot. 69.5. I did say I prefer PayPal at 63. So anyone watching, when we went over the upgrades and downgrades, when PayPal had the event, they basically Okay, it tanked through the 63 support level. If we get back to 63, I would look to fade that. I just got another leg out of Fisker because it was bouncing decently off that 88 level. So we shorted at 93s. It just bounced 88, got back up to 89. There was a big buyer there. I just joined to take some out. So short Fisker off of that wick high at 94, shorted 93s with a stop at the high of the day. And now it's back underneath. So it's about 5 cents in the money. I'm looking all the way back to 84. As long as Lucid and Rivian keep pulling back, I think this can be a good one. And Meta went for the break. The break failed. In, out. If it doesn't work right away, I'm going to jump out of it. Now you're trying to bounce off VWAP here in Meta. So the second swing to me was going to be bouncing off VWAP, which I think is what we're about to see here on Meta. Super strong move to the upside right off the open on Meta. Running out of steam, but it's that time of day where you look for those higher lows. I think we're getting one here at VWAP.
So those of you asking again, it's a little embarrassing, but we are having technical difficulties. So hopefully bears. I know it's very, very hard to do this, but Google. So right now we are short Google, not long. And these are all tick, 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 tick all the way to the upside there. We're short. So we're short Google. We've been cashing out, like I said, a pretty good stock. And the best stock today. And again, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but this is going to be the #1 traded stock here today. It's Tesla. It is absolutely ripping. It's another $3 winner. We have two $3 winners on today. We have AMD, and now we have Tesla. As there goes Tesla right now. Ciao, 184. It's ripping to the upside. Now it's 350 in the money for Tesla. What go bang? Tesla go bang. Huge move right now. Same day. Different trades. We're still here. Let's go over to the desk. It's Adara.
OneMed Net getting another nice push to the upside here, ONMD. Initially, this one trading higher after announcing participation in the 15th Annual Scope Summit. So nice second wind here coming into ONMD, guys.
Never heard of that summit, not going to lie. But the other name that's on earnings today, well, obviously, everyone's talking about the Mag 7 that I report this week. I just want to point out SMCI is not having a bad day either. They report after the bell tonight. You'll be able to catch that on the market recap. This is what the stock had done already going into earnings, which is a little bit wild. Maybe this is an outside chance, but 500 could come into play this afternoon. We're going to have to watch out for that. Look, these are starting to screen back up. So if I'm short Fisker and Tesla's going, Fisker doesn't have to follow Tesla. But if you're short an EV name today, the second I see Tesla break out the highs again, I'm going to get some more out on Fisker at VWAP here. It doesn't mean it has to follow it. But just in terms of managing the position, these all have massive short floats. Fisker, Lucid, okay, Rivian's maybe not massive, but it's a big short float. So yes, the short is working. But when I see Tesla take out a high like this, and just grab the 80, whoa, wow. Just grab the 87 break, and I get a chance to get some out of Fisker and a VWAP, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And speaking of bounces, yeah, I should have taken Rivian long off VWAP. I still like Rivian as a long. I jumped out of it. If you held on to the 15, it gave you 16. If it's going to continue on this path, I think you look at VWAP as your next support level here on Rivian.
All right. Oh, Canada, who cares? Oh, not working. Okay, so those are also not working now. Animations, not working.
Which
okay.
one? We'll verbally do them.
Yeah, oh, Canada, stand on God.
Oh, Well, you could have hit the bang. Really easy to simulate. Just go bang. That's a little bit easier than Oh, Canada.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, obviously, I want to have the best for everybody.
Look, at the end of the day, we're live. That's the thing. If it's the more real it is, it's live. Things are going to happen.
Yeah.
As far as the position goes, keep guys up to date.
$4 winner on Tesla. We're making cash, man. This is a green day for us today. Very, very green day. Apple, $1 in the money. We just started more AMD right here. Google, Microsoft. Microsoft's a red name for me today, so that's going to be the one red name that we have on board. SoFi is an absolute freaking monster, and Tesla's a monster. So that's that, man. A couple monsters in, and those are the ones that we have. Yeah, oil stocks. I mean, look, I love oil stocks. You guys know that. More in my personal account than on the show. We've just been buying XLE. We'll find out about XOM. We should have bought more down there sub-Hundy, but we didn't. So I feel like we can wait another day for XOM to come back in. Did they, I feel like they did not report yet, but I feel like they may have. No, February 2nd.
None of
so
them
just a couple days, man, until XOM. So, wow, big coming through right now. So Microsoft is the only one, 405.50, something to look at.
So actually, I just realized this is like the 5th day in a row Oxy's done a dip at the open, and each day it's caught a nice bid. So there's a, look at the huge dip on Oxy at the open. That's kind of wild. And then a higher low. Well, each time it's done that in the last few days, it's been a pretty good long. So this may be, I said this last week and then for some reason wasn't sitting on this bid. If you can hold VWAP here, I like it. I just got Meta. I'm gonna get to that in a quick second, but I'm gonna like a shot at Oxy here based on that pattern. So 57.75, you can see that's the higher low, local bottom. Just want to make sure I have a stop covering me if I get the fills underneath VWAP here. So I'm going to sit looking for underneath VWAP here on Oxy based on that pattern. So as Sean was mentioning that, I remembered, hey, we liked Oxy dips. If you can show me that those are down, we'll go to them. We'll see if we can go 1 for 2 on Meta. The break didn't work at 400. Waited all morning for that break. It came, it failed, and now we're bouncing off VWAP. So there's one bounce off VWAP. There's the higher low. There's the go long, get out underneath 98, all that good stuff. As I believe it's 10:40, so is it Sector Watch with Adara? Well, it's actually.
Nice mix of sentiment here in the market across these sectors as we head into this very big earnings week. Of course, we can start with these technology sectors here. Meta and Microsoft both reporting this week, both strong on the day right now. Meta, both of them actually getting price target increases from Jefferies. In terms of electronic technology, a little bit more mixed sentiment. Nvidia strong, Apple weak, and some of these chip names a bit more mixed to weak, coming off of Intel's weaker guidance on Thursday after the close. So definitely always sectors to keep an eye on. Finance and health technology, both pretty mixed here. BRKB, to the downside here for finance. Energy minerals weak, as Sean was just mentioning, with XOM, MRO, and CVX all set to report this week. So definitely a sector to keep an eye on. Commercial services, Visa recovering quite nicely after its earnings last week. And transportation also a little bit more mixed. UPS set to report on Tuesday morning, guys.
Yeah, so Hampton's Trader, I am in Meta off of VWAP. It's one of those, okay, we just talked about it, but you asked the question, so Meta, is it going to bounce? It bounced once off VWAP, so I just grabbed it in here, this wick notwithstanding. The higher lows at 398.25, it bounced off at 398 pretty much clean, so I am in that trade. As the market, it's an inside day in the market, but that doesn't mean there aren't things moving. Meta's up 1%. You have not broken, like 17.53. 17.58 essentially. You got a 50-point range in the NASDAQ. But in between that, you've got plenty of things moving. EV names are going absolutely ham. Meta looking pretty darn strong as well. So as far as I'm concerned, there's plenty to trade. Oh, SoFi is about to take out. There we go. It's about to make a run back. If it fails 940, I'm jumping out of SoFi. You wonder why we like that 860 level? Early bird gets the worm, and previous support and resistance is what it's all about. This is 865, which is your previous resistance level on SoFi. That's exactly where it dipped to on the open, and now you're trying to clear this gap out. I think 950 makes a lot of sense. There we go. Pull a little bit further back. First day of the year, 950 was where it fell, and then it continued to fall on SoFi ever since. So I like this 950 for a target.
All right, guys. I mean, we just took 70 cents or 60 cents there on Google. We're short on Google. The professor's losing his mind over here. Tesla continues to go to the high side. We took $15 on earnings day on Tesla. It was good on Friday, and then now today it's incredible as it gave us the bottom there. Pretty simple. It's 10:47, man. We're in chill mode right now. Apple's still $1 in the money and still trying to go. The only position now that we have to worry about, and we don't have many shares because we're waiting to see if we can get a bottom here, would be AMD. So again, I'm on this AMD because we've seen it rip a lot, off of nothing. So let's see if it can do it again, right now. That bottom, we already have that bottom. So we were hit on this early, then we got that bottom. We're gonna wait to see if that loses it. So 174.50 basically. Let's wait all the way down to we don't have very many shares. Let's wait all the way down to 174 for AMD, where we'll buy a little bit more up there, down there, and then we'll buy more up, but down there, and then see if that's going to be the level of interest for us, 174. We've dipped back in there a couple times. You have the 200 period there. Let's just wait. This is a 20-minute chart, so 200 period in and around 174 and change for Microsoft, for AMD. That's going to be that trade. Those of you asking about the damage we're doing on Tesla, Tesla is the #1 stock here, and for obvious reasons. I mean, it's $4 in the money. So no matter how many shares I have, it would probably be the #1 stock. So nicely done there for Tesla. Let's see if it keeps on climbing. Google's really starting to become, so realized profits, Google will be here. But, you know, everything is just doing really well. I feel upset about the position board, but we've been giving you guys the levels and the names, and you can ask us at any time what positions we have in on the board as well. Why not short AMD, says John Yates. You're right. We should be short. We should be short right there off VWAP.
Intel breaking lows.
Yeah, so right now I'm just trying to catch the bottom. I've sold off some of my tech positions over the last week or so. So all of this coming back in is no surprise. But AMD reports tomorrow. So it's going to be a little dangerous sitting here trading these stocks, but as long as you're well prepared for them, it'll be okay. And we're well prepared. Breaking through 174, that's what we're going to be waiting for here on AMD, and we'll try to buy these dips into 174. So that's what we're doing right now. We're long 175 on AMD.
Yeah, and again, new position for me. We talked about some VWAP dips on strong stocks, or I wanted to fade VWAP on some others, on some weak stocks, but that's not happening. Shout out to you, Intel. But Rivian just came in, bounced off VWAP once, another bounce here at 65s, just grabbed 71s long. So long in Rivian, super strong. I mean, all these EVs are super strong. We did have the 15 bid that filled this morning, but that's come and gone. Now we're long up above that 15 area. Mara apparently broke 19 bucks, so forget about VWAP there. No VWAP dip for me on Mara. This just continues to run. If it's going to continue the pattern, I usually look for dip back into previous high, consolidate above, and then go into the long. Intel, you're a dog, as it continues to go. It's now double bottom here in Intel, through 43 even, so you've made fresh lows. The earnings bottom was pretty much 43 and change. It's looking ugly for Intel here. I mean, someone was saying, why aren't you short AMD? Well, because like I would think that Intel, if there's it gets a fail not being back into another Intel short. It gave you a consolidation underneath. This is the weakest of the chip names, and they've already reported. So I want to look to short the pops here in Intel. I guess it's 43.25 would be the next one for me. Meta's still hanging around VWAP on that bounce off 398. The break didn't work. Now looking to hang on to VWAP in here, but the market breaks the low. Meta probably breaks at 98. So risking about 70 pennies on Meta with a little bit of slippage anticipated. Let's get on to the desk. With Adara, we got Money Talks.
Yeah.
Nice push up for the USD here, 2 days ahead of the FOMC decision coming Wednesday. So certainly something to keep an eye on here. We were trading in this range just above that 103 area for quite some time. Now we're nearing 103.80 for the DXY. So nice look here. We did get some economic data earlier today. Dallas Fed Manufacturing Business Index for January coming in negative 27.4 versus negative 10 prior. Dallas Fed Texas manufacturing output coming in at negative 15.4 versus 1.2 prior. So definitely much lower than the previous numbers there. And overall, nice push to the upside here for the DXY. We also have here the euro to the USD relationship. Euro falling strong against the USD. USD strength, but also policymakers from the European Central Bank saying there will be a cut and it is within our reach. So that making the euro a little bit bearish here. Also, just a note on Tesla as well with that Tesla strength. Some news resources in China reporting that a new Model 3 performance could be headed to China coming around second quarter 2024. So just something to keep an eye on there as well, guys.
Which of course is that's very soon, obviously.
Yeah, we like that catalyst. That's
a couple months.
That's the big one there. So sometimes, again, like, stories will come out, go one way, go the other way, but as long as you're playing off support and resistance, like this 184, again, we talked about that from the close there on Friday, and where we were looking at, but that was just looks to be, now who knows, hopefully, looks to be a good position for us now on Tesla. But guess what's happening right now? Oh, shit. We have AMD back up to the upside. We're long. It's another 50-cent winner. I mean, there it goes. We just talked about buying AMD right there. And here it goes, right up. So, again, bigger position on. There it goes. It's AMD ripping and rhyming to the top side right now. We got some more outs on Google. Google tried to go up. We took a 70 fill, whatever. For me, now it's party on, and it's in the chip space. If we can get anything to like 176, wow, this is really starting to go. We are now nicely upside right here on this. We just got a 46 on that one. So yeah, man, like I said, if you're not looking for money trades, then you're probably watching the wrong show. It's AMD upside. It's Apple upside. It's Google downside with a big win. It's our one red stock today with Microsoft. Kind of not doing anything, SoFi, to be honest with you. SoFi, the sticky note nation right there. Stand the hell up. This is how you know you like the stock. Once early, again on VWAP, again breaking 9, and there it goes to the top side. It's SoFi. Thank you so much, John Yates. Thank you so much, Desi, so much Chris, Cloggy, everybody there in the chat. Today has been another green day, and the market continues to rip higher. Or does it?
Well, what's crazy about it is the market just bounced again off the lows, but it's not. We're not ripping in the market. Like SoFi's doing this by itself today, so it's one of those types of days. But it's still football season, so we'll hit the spike. I said 950 was the target. 950 just came in. It won't be a buck because that wasn't the levels. The level was 860 for me support, and 950 from the first day of the year. I think I accidentally said this. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. First day of the year, 950 is where it flushed. Meta just gave a VWAP bounce. Let's zoom in because I got that crazy wick from 2 days ago. So it just bounced 98 to 99. We took another VWAP bounce on Rivian as well. That just bounced 70s to 85s. Want this back up at that 16 double top. I'm still short Fisker, by the way. Again, it's not to... Yeah, I haven't gone over this in a bit, but look, Fisker hasn't really done much. So it failed that 94 top, short of 93s. It's bounced off 88 a couple times. When Tesla and all the other EVs were screaming again, I took more out at 89. Since, it's just continued to look relatively weak compared to the others. So I'm going to bid 86s, going to bid 84s, looking for a pullback in Fisker here. This is juxtaposed against... Lucid up that 16%. The reason I shorted Fisker is because it was still under the buck. It didn't have nearly the buy volume and strength of the moves that I saw in Lucid and Rivian, so I elected to go short in that one. I always find if you can play the sympathy name, it's just easier to do that. One more for you guys here. We talked about SoFi. Today, we took the shot at Affirm. We're in at the 43. It took out the local high. I have not traded it since. However, that previous top, this is the reason we look for resistance turning into support and vice versa. So you're short underneath the stop, it runs the stop, you get out. But that same double top ends up being the dip buy on Affirm, right there at 43.25. Now, if I was long bias, obviously I would have taken that long, but I was short bias. So we get away from Affirm. We short it today, and it's actually the first time that it doesn't work out, shorting it that particular time of day on the spike. Next level up for Affirm. I know 45 is obvious as a round number, but 45 is the next level up. If it breaks that 47, it's more like 47 and a half if it were to break it. It's a long way to go, but I think 45, the next place I'd look for like a lunchtime fade over there on Affirm.
All right, yo, what's up to who is it here? JDM, someone said there? Or there it is. What's up, JDME Life? Stop shorting EV names. Dude, the number one name here today is Tesla, and it's a long, and we are now $4 in the money on this one. So, but you got to throw whatever sets up. That's the important thing. All right, there goes AMD, guys. We got a bunch out right there at 88s, 89s. We are hitting the dollar club there for you. Nice move up, man. We just bought those dips in 174, and we told you what we were playing against, so well worth it, risk to reward. Let's get out. Whenever you have wins like this, and you're able to be green on the day, have one red name in your blotter today, that's going to be a successful day. So despite the market, this is why you guys are here, man. Despite the market doing this, it's a very, very profitable day. So hopefully you guys are able to see some of the trades, including the #1 trade today, SoFi, buying these dips and now at highs. Tesla's been an absolute monster. The one red name, Microsoft, for me, that was a mistake. We went short there, out 25, 30 cents. Then we went long, lost the same amount back there. So we're 0 for 2 on Softy. But man, we made some money back on Microsoft or Google. We went short and got taken out there, but realized that we were well away from where we should have got taken out. So we went back short, made that money again. But that was a loser until we stuck with it. And sometimes you do that. You're not always going to have the very, very right spot. And again, in what is probably the best trade for me today, the other ones were, and I mean, I think Tesla's the best trade because it's $3 in the money on the same value, like it's still a 190 stock. But this Apple take was pretty good too, man. This came in into 190. We let it base out, then we took the long. And as they say, Bob, if you have one, shout out to my Uncle Bob. Bob is your uncle up there to the upside. So that's $1. Now we'll hold on to a little bit more. And hey, if this market cracks, that's fine. We do have Google short, and we're pretty much out of everything else. Like AMD, I actually wouldn't mind to reload a little bit lower. We have 20% of AMD left. We have 20% of Tesla left. 25% of Tesla left as that's trying to go to the upside. And then after that, that's about it, man. A small piece on Apple, and then we'll look to go some short. But we have some big names coming tomorrow. Do we have the earnings board for today? It's Nucor, and SMCI.
There was something else.
A few other names coming through today as well.
There was one more that was somewhat notable, but the big two are, I mean, Nucor is more of an investment stock. A lot of people probably own that for some exposure.
We like Nucor,
but at the same time, like SMCI, that is probably, I know everyone talks about Nvidia, but really, like SMCI has been the most volatile in the chip sector the last couple of weeks. So I'm expecting some serious fireworks from them. By the way, Intel just continues to hang these lows. If the market continues to break bottoms, might not. Here we go. Can we get the earnings board before we go? Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, there it is. It was. Look at the morning.
Morning. Oh yeah.
Tomorrow morning, it's Pfizer.
Oh, it's coming.
Which things haven't been going too well for Pfizer if you look at that. If you look at their daily chart, so that is a big one. But Nucor and SMCI are going to be the big ones after the bell. You'll catch both of those hopefully on the market recap show. I don't know exactly what time they'll be, and then GM tomorrow morning apparently. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? There's many huge stocks, but we got to go right now. I just want to give you guys what we have. Long Apple, 70 cents in the money. Long AMD, 30 cents in the money. Short Google, 70 cents in the money. Long SoFi, 45 cents in the money. Long Tesla, $1, $2, $3 in the money right now on Tesla. So yeah, it's Greensville. We're really happy. It's been a good day for us, but it's time to go get your learn on with the afternoon show, the midday show. It's Sharif, it's Adara. Kill them with kindness.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl, Dara. I'm Sharif. And as per usual, we're going